Right now, it's not Tuesday. You're probably asking yourself, well, where's that conversation? And why is this guy here and it's not Tuesday yet? Well, at the end of the last episode, well, thanks for everybody for tuning in, for listening to all the episodes. As I say all the time, try to fall in on whatever is the newest episode you see. You could work your way back after that. Trying to work your way forward through all them episodes is plenty. So start at the latest one. If you like it, you could always go back. And as I said, might continue doing my episodes every Tuesday that I will drop. And I have two other things to come with, which are conversations and interviews. So to explain what they are, interviews would be with people who are business types, celebrities, politics, people who are known in society, or maybe not so known, and I could shed some light on what they're doing. And that will take a true interview format, where it's question answer, get out to these people, because those have to be a little more structured, because I don't have access to those people all the time, unfortunately. But I will bring them to you as they come along, and I'll do those on a Friday morning. And conversations, a little different to interviews. Conversations is with people who I like and I have access to all the time. So it's friends, family, whoever it might be, and I could call them at any time to have a conversation. So they could jump in on the regular podcast. You'll hear them on the Tuesday, or you'll have a whole conversation with them where they're on for the full episode on a Friday. And that works for me because I think I have some interesting people around me, and the more I could just share the conversations we have with you guys, I think it'll help you understand who I am and where I'm from and what moves me and that type of thing. So we have our first conversation, and the first conversation we have I'm proud to be able to do it. I was happy to just get it done, because it's the most interesting person I know. It's the most interesting man I know for sure, and is my partner. We're working together. Is my enemy in card. But other than that, I'm my best friend, my father, mentor, business partner, the full works. And I feel lucky that I get to see him and have access to him every day, because he has a wealth of experience. He's always open to share it with you and to give you positive words or give you encouragement and give you feedback. And I'm blessed to be able to just access that anytime in person or over the phone or whenever I need to, really. And true to form, I tell him, I say, boy, listen, I want to start this conversation. He's just like, yeah, let me know when you're ready. I'll come down. So I appreciate it, and I'm proud to have him. And one of the things that he's doing, one of his latest ventures, because he's today a businessman and business owner, but one of his latest ventures is executive coaching. And I watch him dedicate himself to coaching, as he does with everything else. When he puts himself into something, he puts his whole self into it, and he gives everything of himself. When he's done, he's drained. And I'm seeing executive coaching for him as much as a business, as a way of giving back, to really just help people accomplish their goals and their dreams, as he has done so often. I've seen many things we talk about as concepts come to fruition with this guy. So let me not keep you back no more. I'm gonna get right into it, and this is conversation one with my guy Ken Corbie. The problem is
not the level volume here.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
The length of time we take to set up, I can't remember what he was going to talk about. That's the problem. No,
we ain't about to talk about
more mic than thing to talk about. This you could get it over here. Yeah. Right. So we have a start. I feel we have something started here. We will fix the intro and thing when we go back. So we had to start with the most important things first, right?
What's that?
What's the score in your roomie? I want it on record.
You sure you want to go there?
What is the score in your roomie for the year? Let me see if I can find it.
You gotta put that in context.
What context? What year we in?
We in 2020.
Good. So the score in your roomie for the year.
Once I had up Poggi.
But after yesterday, Poggi win 2 yesterday. How much you win yesterday?
I don't even remember that. As we rely on the scorer to give me the details.
All right, well, I'll tell you what was the scores as of yesterday. Okay. The scores as of yesterday would be Eddie 20, Ken 27. But wait, Ken was 27 the day before too. Poggi 28 and Corey 33.
You can't talk about this thing as if it just started. Start from when we started now.
When we started?
2018, we started this tournament, this campaign, whatever you want to call it. 2018,
it's really a campaign.
This is the third year. Talk about that, man. Talk about the results of the first year and the second year, and why you feel we had to stop now.
No, I feel we should stop now. I feel we should stop now. It's the biggest margin of victory.
What? Is the biggest what?
The biggest margin of victory. The biggest margin of victory
Anyway,
I've seen
all
so
I
far.
want, all I want you all to do, right? There's a statement that I feel is important for me to make.
Tell me.
For you, Porgy and Ed.
Mm-hmm.
There's something that I don't want you all ever to think or repeat.
Mm-hmm. Let me hear.
Right? Don't ever say it.
Don't
read it anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And don't ever think about these words in your mind. Great is the two-time king. Great is the two-time king. Great is the two-time king. And he shall prevail.
Listen, you would believe how nervous I just get when you start with
2018
great.
and 2019 is too straight.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no evidence whatsoever.
The evidence
that the two-time king will not be the three-time king. What do they call it now? They say it now, like what?
I don't know.
Me, you know, there's that kind of fancy word and thing.
I have a clue.
A tri-king or some kind of...
A tri-king? You really the tri-king?
And if I go right down to 5 years, I could be a Viking.
It's really Viking,
right?
and true. It's really Viking. But there's one explanation for all that. The explanation is ladies first. So we give you 2 years to play yourself and think. Mine end up last.
Twice?
Yes. Mine end up last this year. I just say it.
Anyway, let me say like Crow.
Mm-hmm.
You see all of this debate? Have some respect for the two-king.
I sure Crow ain't saying none of that. Listen, so far your P&M showing it. Because you start with great is the something. That song familiar. Now you're thinking about Crow, the P&M thing or something.
No. I exhibited balance across all parties.
I don't know.
Right? Because I've asked for a recount.
Well, better you recant. Your question for a recount. And if you don't play Romeo, you're listening to the wrong podcast. So we had to find a way to get to the end, because I've been saying for a few weeks that I want to get to episode 10 before I bring guests on. And we get to episode 10. I don't know how. I can't remember nothing I talked about in the first 10 episodes, but we're here. So I have the first guest, and I'm glad that the first guest is the most interested man I know. And I have a board of things written down here, right? This is what I usually do every podcast, right? As you write out a board,
can't see nothing on
I'm
that
so glad you can see nothing on that board. That's what I studied. What you going to know? I don't even know what we're talking about at all. But the problem is my handwriting so bad. Half the time I can't even figure out why I write on the board. Yeah, so I didn't even know where I'm supposed to start. But I think we'll start at the start. So one of the things that I talked about on this podcast some weeks ago, I'd done an episode where it was just when they had the riots and thing. Remember that? When the thing had fled up and people were rioting and thing. And I was saying that the whole idea of the voices from the ghetto and thing is something that I think people need more perspective on. And I feel like me too. So I wanted to start in... Where you want to start? Grandi or Laventille Road?
Me, no,
you tell me where your start is. Where you consider your start?
I don't know where I start.
You ain't sure if you start?
I don't know if I start in Grandi, but I feel I must start in Laventille Road.
Laventille Road. So you would never live Grandi? You would live in Grandi at all?
No. I used to go to Grandi to spend holidays and thing with grandparents, right? So grandmother and grandfather on Mommy Corbie side.
Mm-hmm.
We used to go there and spend some time.
So when you're born, the only house you know, the first house you know is Laventille Road?
Yeah, up the hill.
Good. So it's up the road, Laventille Road, Febo Village.
Mm-hmm.
So as a little fella growing up there, what was it like? If you had to describe the place for somebody.
Yeah. Boy, it was like heaven. It was the most beautiful place you could experience, because I was surrounded by a lot of friends. You know, I grew up with plenty fellas in the village. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, I had a father, both parents, they were home. You know what I mean? They lived together. They had a wonderful relationship.
Right.
And they took care of us, 5 children.
Right.
So I grew up in the house with Uncle Carl. That's the first one.
Right.
Merle. The second, Therese, Marlene, and myself. And I was the last.
Right.
So
last seemed like a place you're accustomed to.
Yeah. But I cool with that. You see, I have no stress over being last. But you know what they say? First shall be last, and the last shall be first.
Something like P&M again. Something a lot of P&M is showing here. So it's 5-year-old group.
Yeah. So I mean, being the last one, I was probably closest to Marlene, who was the one just before me.
Right.
But I mean, Marlene as a girl, you know, the way we grew up, the girls, they had a certain limit to the relationship. She couldn't go downstairs and pitch marble and go and play cricket. So I spent plenty time playing outside in the yard and playing in the road and stuff with fellas like Keith Fox and Ken Fox and Dennis Fox, who died of COVID.
I remember you said
some time ago.
Yeah.
but also having a lot of respect for the men in the area.
Right.
And even though I never perceived myself as we certainly weren't a family with a lot of means, right?
Right,
like
right.
Money. But it appeared as if money was not so important even at that time. Because the key thing is that we had food. And we had real food. Plus, partner, I mean, I think families in that time really didn't focus on too much extras. And then people didn't have access to all the extras.
Right.
And it wasn't like the media was so prevalent
Yeah, to
as it
influence
is
you.
now to influence you and show you what everybody else have.
Right.
And
Right.
make you feel like if you don't have enough. And that's a real,
How much of it is also, you see, when you grow up in an area where everybody kind of equal,
Yeah.
you tend to see that you might have you don't sense the lack in the same way.
Exactly,
As if your comparison point is way, way different from you.
Yeah. Because, I mean, look, it's scientifically proven that
Right.
poverty is relative. You don't experience poverty if you don't have something to judge yourself against, right? Or to compare yourself
You
with.
had to have a backdrop. You had to have
You
some
had to
kind
have
of
a
point.
backdrop. What is it? It's
Yeah.
that it's relative to what other people have
Right.
in terms of the physical assets they have and also the access that they have
Right.
to things like to education, and to be able to get a good job and that kind of. So people perceive themselves to be poor
Right.
based on what others have or don't have. But in our case, we were living in a kind of a bubble in an environment where
Gotcha.
everybody was of pretty much the
Similar.
same economic stature, if you want,
Right.
with some outliers, right? With a few people who were maybe not doing as well.
Sure.
A guy living out there by himself and he'd have a whole family.
Right.
And because we had a family of 5, by the time we grew up and everybody started to work, we were able to change the financial situation a little bit
Right.
over time. Some people didn't have that opportunity.
Okay. So, Uncle Carl, would it be you? That wasn't really a lineman partner. The age gap was too big, or?
Yeah, I mean, he's about 10 years, almost 10 years older than me,
Okay.
So he was born in 1950.
Right.
I mean, I love the guy, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
the
for
guy this is my only brother.
Right, yeah.
And if you hear him talk, he'll say the same thing, even now, the only brother. And that,
Right.
to us, that was a big, big thing. But we, where we connected was in the music.
Right.
So he used to play a little bit of guitar and play some quattro and stuff in the early days. So I remember we used to sit down on the banister on the front porch.
Right.
And we'd play. And he used to like a lot of songs by where's this guy? But I think he died now. Man, I can't remember the man.
Local man or foreign?
No, foreign man.
Okay,
he wasn't into he had liked the local music, right?
Right.
But he used to Swamp Dog.
Yeah.
And them fellas, yeah.
But when you playing them time guitar or quattro?
He played a little guitar. He was a little limited in terms of the chords, but
Right.
what he could do and do it well.
Right.
And he would sing, and we used to sing. And I always remember him telling me once, he say, but I like calypso,
Yeah.
I was totally, completely obsessed. So every time I pick up my guitar or I start to sing, it's a calypso.
Yeah, Swamp Dog.
No. I wouldn't learn that. I can't learn that, right? I don't have the accent. But anyway, he was trying the accent. And he's singing the little Swamp Dog thing, or something called Bill Withers, with a little help from my friend.
I know Bill Withers.
He loved them
Bill
songs.
Withers passed away last year or this year, I think.
Some time ago. But, and he said, hey, you don't have no moods or what?
You're so right.
I only have one mood. It's either the calypso slow, or it's fast,
There's one mood.
or it's humorous.
Yeah.
But Kaiso is my thing, that's my thing.
That's where it is. But what age? So when you're 10, he's done 20 already. So what age you talking about where you're singing in the gallery and thing? What age both you all be, you think so?
I probably was about in my early teens.
Okay.
13, 14, because I think I started to play the guitar around 13 or 14. And the truth is, he and Auntie Merle put up, and they
Right.
bought my first guitar.
Okay.
And I was 15.
Really?
But Daddy always had a guitar in the house.
Oh, so you was playing
So
before
we
you
used to
get the
play
first
the
guitar?
little, before I got my guitar,
Right.
I used to play with one finger on the first note on the first fret.
Yeah, well,
And
like,
that jamming down
jamming.
everything. Until I met a guy called Jeffrey Williams, and
Right.
I started to learn a few chords from Jeffrey and stuff, and started to play in Best Village.
Right.
In the
What
community
age you talking about
centers.
there? Teenage still?
Yeah.
But that's fast. If you get your first guitar at 15, what age you start playing best? What age you start playing with you could let people hear you play?
I mean, maybe it's Best Village. I used to
Okay.
just play around.
And that's how long after 15? That's what age?
I think I was involved in Best Village at 16, 17,
Serious?
18.
So
yeah.
you was playing all day, or you pick up so fast? You
No. Well, I mean, because there was a guitar in the house,
right.
and I was never formally trained to play, so I kind of just looked at everybody and played. But I remember Jeffrey being some. No, in fact, let me see if I have those dates, those years right, those ages right, because I was going to Belmont Secondary. I went to Belmont.
And strike one.
This guy Chucky Gordon,
Right.
his father Roland Gordon was my music teacher.
Okay.
And I would have been about 17. And Roland used to take me all over the country. He used to like the way I played calypso. So he would take me with him to play for choirs and stuff that he was supporting as a music teacher. And that would have been at 17. So that means that I would have been actually, I must have been talking about 11.
Yeah, probably earlier than that.
Yeah, because when I was 15, 16, I was jamming.
Yeah, well, you had to put in some work to get to that point.
Yeah.
But Uncle Carl would have been formally trained at all, or granddad, or anybody around?
No.
Nobody around the house?
No. Well, we have some relatives who were formally trained there.
Right.
Because Daddy had 2 brothers. Well, more than 2. But he had 2 brothers who were in the orphanage.
Right.
Right, because their father died. That's our grandfather, John Corbie,
Right.
Sani Grandi. He died, I think, in his early 40s. So, and the children were young.
Right.
And so, he had Uncle Cyril was the first one. He might have been a teenager, late teens.
Right.
Daddy followed. And then you had Uncle, I think that's Uncle Ivan.
Right.
He was in the orphanage. And he became a professional musician.
Right.
Because he was a trumpeter. And he played for Joey Lewis for years. I mean,
you
all
were
them
playing
big
something
Joey
for me
Lewis hits.
yesterday. Yeah. He
Yeah.
played on the original, on the
Yeah, we
recorded
listened
track.
to some of it. He played the original trumpet on that.
Okay.
And I had a wonderful opportunity to actually play with him in Kitchener Tent
Oh, nice.
in 1985, 86, somewhere around there when I played in the tent.
Okay. So they all grew up in your father, all his brothers grew up in your orphanage?
Not all. The younger ones.
Some older.
Yeah.
But everybody who passed through the orphanage played something.
Well, 2 of them passed through the orphanage for sure.
Right.
And played.
Right.
At one, I think, went to the orphanage, but I don't think he stayed there. I think he got an opportunity and he
So
left.
Uncle Ivan was the trumpet.
Trumpeter.
He learned it in the orphanage.
He learned in the orphanage. Yeah.
Okay. And
That's
Uncle
where he learned.
Carol was there too? Or he
Uncle Carol was there. His real name is Edward Corbie.
Right. And he plays as well?
Sax.
He's the one who plays
He's
sax.
the one who played the sax. Yeah.
No,
No,
and he play at a level like you also, where he play for bands and them kind of thing, or you just play casual?
Yeah. But he was a professional. Them fellas didn't choke like, well, I say I do it, Them fellas serious, right?
Okay.
Them guys could read. And Uncle Carol, he learned there and then he taught there in the orphanage. Actually, he's a credit, and he tell me the story that he's the one that taught Roy Cape. Roy Cape was in the orphanage as well.
Well, I always heard that story about Roy Cape being in the orphanage. So
And
he learned. He says that he learned in the orphanage.
Right, yeah, exactly. So Uncle Carol actually was the arranger for Catelli.
All right.
Steel band. Yeah,
Okay.
steel band, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess he had to be formally trained to be able to
You better
put
be,
together all that
because
music.
you had to write music for all them. I don't know. I tried to arrange a little music for a band side once. But let me tell you something. Them fellas called me and asked me if the name of the band is Chord Masters, but they're from Laventille Road in South.
Yeah, I know the name Chord Masters.
So I decided a guy came to me, Bob, I think was his name. He said, Ken, you think you could do arrangement for the band? I said, okay, let me try something.
Right.
Boy, you ever try to run yet?
To run?
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that. I try.
Listen, I was looking for somewhere to hide after about the first week. I go on in the pants side telling them fellas, pa 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 pa.
That ain't gonna work. So men watching you there.
Men want to know where's the notes.
So you had to tell them the notes. And you know no notes.
I sing it. I don't know a note. I sing it out everything. I can sing the notes. I don't know the notes. So it didn't go too far.
But in good company, I see I interviewed Clive Bradley the other day, and he said the same thing. I mean, he knew the music, but he said he didn't play pan.
Yeah.
So he said he wasn't taking the time Pelham take to show what to play on this and show on next man. He said, I come in and I either singing or writing. He said, when I play what you want to play, if you can't pick up that, arrange for next
I needed a writer.
Right.
I think I could imagine what I wanted to hear.
Right.
I think I got a good sense of the music, the melody, and what I'd like to hear. And even maybe a couple harmonies that I could put together. But it's a very complex thing to arrange music for a steel band.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because you have all these instruments have different voices. You know what I mean? And you have to get them to blend and sound very melodious and harmonious.
Yeah,
and
put
all
out
that
one
kind
sound. Yeah, well, I mean, that steel band, even for me, steel band was something that took me a long time to appreciate. Like, I remember going Panorama semis.
Yeah.
And it's a fet. Panorama, well, them days are no greens and things. Everything is in the north stand.
Right.
And me and Pablo in Panorama every year. But to me, it used to be noisy. I used to prefer the rhythm section than the pan. Because when I guess the size of the band and everything, the size of the sound that coming in that note stand, you can't differentiate nothing. I don't know what playing. And as if somebody play, what used to happen is if people play songs that were on the radio and made for pan is something you could enjoy. But the arrangement of it, when it going all over the place, I can't wait for the rhythm section. I just want to hear one straight rhythm. It was too difficult to pick up at.
But first of all, two things. You never asked me to go Panorama. So I didn't know.
I talking about year before, you know.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't know you was up in no Panorama because I used to be there.
Well, this is good. This is why they have greens and thing now, you know. So man could go so and their parents could go up in the north stand. You see, solving problems.
No, well, you see, the thing is, if you have some pan enthusiasts, right? Some people who are very critical, they like critics, you know, pan critics. They would go and they listen, and I think they do a really excellent job of miking up the bands for Carnival, for Panorama. It's fantastic.
Okay, so wait, them bands mic'd up when they're playing on the stage?
Of course.
I thought that was the full song on the band, yes, Lord.
No, I mean, they play, but I mean, I think they have mics around the place. So
I would imagine, it really coming through the speakers, coming to think about it.
It's beautiful, it really is. It's a phenomenon.
No, like now I could listen to it. It's easier for me, and I guess it's just playing more music myself and getting used to, because it was hard for me. I was telling you this before, when you play in bands, which we will get to, right? I used to come and see you play in a band, and I don't know where you played. The whole thing used to sound like one sound to me. So it took me years to be able to listen to music and hear a guitar. Or hear the only thing you could hear is a lead voice or a lead instrument.
Yeah.
So it take a lot of time. But so from Best Village, what was he? If you ain't playing no Swamp Dog and thing, Best Village, I know Swamp Dog and them thing. Best Village, where you playing in there?
Best Village? Boy, Best Village is just folk songs. Right? So it's old folk songs and stuff and calypsos, you know? Right. Because you have to sing like a chant well. Right. You know, sometimes you're singing a chant for people to dance. Dance the belly, or whatever, you know, dance the belly, you know, that kind of thing. And then they had a lot of folk songs. You remember this one? Day-o, there the light and a war go home. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. There the light and a war go home. You know, all that kind of stuff.
So you're back in like a choir or something? Or you singing and playing?
Most choirs,
You singing and playing most of the time at that point?
I don't know if I ever sang as much in the choir in Best Village. I was always like kind of a solo singer. Right, so I would. I don't think I ever was a choir member, to be honest with you. They always called me to sing something. Sing a calypso. They used to have calypso segments. Right. So I would solo songs and stuff. But my real thing was when it's not in the Best Village, you know. I was an actor actually. Right. Okay. For the Best Village, right. But when and I played the guitar for the choir. Right. So not so much in front singing, but I would do solo songs. But you see, when Best Village practice finish, that is my tent. Yeah. That was my tent. What? This is, man, people used to flock around the community center for them sessions. And because at that age, maybe 11, 12, actually, I did start around 10 or 11.
In Best Village?
Yes, because I remember having, when I went to Belmont Secondary, first year, 12 years old. Right. That year, we recorded something on TTT. Okay. And I sang with a few members of the choir a song called Cuckoo and Callaloo, and that they used to have little Best Village things playing on the one of these shows, you know, these evening shows with kids and things. Right. And I sang that Cuckoo and Callaloo is we West Indian food. Cuckoo and Callaloo is we West Indian food. Some people like the cuckoo boiled real soft. People like it with plenty fish broth, but we here in Trinidad, we love we corn cuckoo bad. You know, it was that cultural thing, you know. And then fellas used to call me Cuckoo and Callaloo in school. Say, look, Cuckoo and Callaloo.
They see on TV.
Yeah. So that's how I know that it was around that age. Right? And I was already playing a little bit of guitar.
Okay. But like when you're singing, I'm trying to get a feel for how you develop the skill to sing and play. As well, because you learn to play in YC as a real short space of time and at a good level too to be playing in Best Village and thing. But when you're solo, you were singing by yourself or you were playing and singing, or how that went?
Well, I think there are two different things because I learned my first calypso at about 11 years old, but I don't remember playing the guitar
Right.
to sing it, right? As a shadow calypso.
You remember it?
Yeah.
Let me hear it, no?
Steel band man, please listen to me. Dig the beat of this melody. I quite agree, Kitchener is great. But in 71, he must feel me weight. Lord, if them steel band boys give this tune a little try. Kitchy boy, water in your eye. Pam 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 pam. That was the first calypso I learned.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember you telling me that was a song Shadow was singing as a now coming out on the scene, trying to break through with the
early. I think he maybe about 71.
Right.
Around 71 is when he would have done that song.
That would be after Baseman from Hell
No,
was all year.
Baseman is 74.
Okay. So that's bringing him out on the scene.
He was threatening even that time,
Right.
And even before 74, he sang a calypso saying that he was coming real hard in 74 and he was going to mash up Kitchener and them.
Oh.
He sent some warnings and he never turned back.
That time they taking him seriously with them warnings, or them men as big boys, they ain't study nobody.
Them fellas trying to fight down everybody. They don't care where you come. But you mad. You can't come and say you don't stop. The calypso arena is one of the most vicious. If you don't have a good sense of confidence and stuff, the fellas will take you down.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah,
they're talking about that up to
you
today.
You have to be at your best.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was anything personal. It's just that these guys were trying to be the best that they could be.
So it's almost like, how much of that you feel the Monarch and thing contribute to? You feel it would be as competitive if it wasn't for competitions like that?
Nah, maybe not. Maybe not. I think
the Monarch and the road match and
they
them
always
things.
had to prepare something for this big event.
Right.
You know, King, Calypso King, and to them that's a huge thing.
Right.
So you have to be better than the next guy. You know, this issue now of people sharing rhythm and think you crazy.
That ain't happening.
You could ever get Terror to share rhythm. Terror trying to do something that nobody else. Yeah, these fellas had a lot of pride,
right?
You know, and they coming out there to mash you up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They coming out there to mash you. You had to come good, and they will not do something that sounds anything like what another singer is doing.
Yeah, you ain't seen
That's
that
why
now.
they were so fiercely independent, and every one of them, Terror, Kitsch, Sparrow, Spoiler, Shadow, Stalin, is a brand, you know.
Yeah, that's for sure.
These guys turned out to be brands. I'm not so sure now.
You're not so sure now? No, the artists know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that definitely, because I feel like some of that, you could see how it would, some of it adds to the culture, but some of it you could see how far we stray from the thing, because the rhythms is one of the things that I think the rhythm thing to me, a big part of it is because of how important DJ music is to the artist now.
Right.
You see, not now, I think my era. If a DJ wasn't playing your music, you was in some trouble. Yeah. Because some of the outlets that you experience, they're not really there to release your music.
Yeah.
Now the DJ started to change too, because the DJ was a man who walked with a bunch of records and he could buy records that one DJ have or the next one don't have. The music started to change now with every song available to everybody.
Right.
And then it started to get digital and computerized. So I could walk with a laptop and I was a DJ.
Yeah.
So what happens is, if you look at your journey for music, right? Something you always tell me about in terms of how you develop. Because you was around musical people. You ain't learn to read, but you learn to play, you learn to sing.
Right.
At that Best Village was a huge amount of exposure. You probably learn every day while you're there.
Yeah.
And honing your skill. The DJ not necessarily taking that time to do all that work.
Right.
So what happened now, them started mix songs where if it's on the same rhythm, it's easier for them to mix.
Right.
That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
It get easy because if 10 men, and at Jamaica drive that a lot. Because when you go in Jamaica, if your song not a rhythm, you're in some trouble.
Right.
The biggest artists is the ones who's go and get their own rhythms and do their own thing.
Right.
But when you're trying to break through, if you're not a rhythm, you have some problems over there. And as Jamaican music and the culture and thing, for me as a teenager, started to get stronger and stronger. The rhythms, because I would say that maybe in the 2000s is when the rhythm thing really started to pick up. In the 90s and thing, it was not. I don't know if you remember. I was now started felt like 99, 2000 and thing, and now fetted. But the rhythm thing was late. If you look at 2004 or 5, it started build up with rhythms and stuff, and it never really. I don't know if it turned back, because now we're seeing the same thing here. The biggest artists going and sing on their own. So if you watch a couple years ago, Ultimate Rejects had a road march with the city could burn down with jamming still. Nobody ain't going on there. They're not putting no other people on them rhythms, especially when they have the big road march song.
Yeah, of course.
Nothing else ain't going to come and compete with that. So I think plenty of it changed. But
you see, Jamaica, to me, reggae music is a little bit different.
For sure.
It tends to be a little bit, I don't want to use the word monotonous because that might sound like a negative term.
Right.
I'm not meaning to be negative. I'm just saying that the chord structures tend to be not as varied as in Calypso.
Yeah.
And the rhythms they use tend to be not as varied as in Calypso.
Sure.
So I can understand where they
It
might
makes
use a
sense
rhythm.
for them. Yeah.
Right? Because you're hearing a lot of songs, like we were listening to something yesterday where the fellas actually singing slightly off the key.
Right.
Right? But them jamming 3 or 4 chords down the line with that same rhythm. Have you ever heard of fast reggae?
Well, you hear some, but I get where you're coming from. The same thing is
It's
happening.
the same. A good reggae song tends to be at the same speed, the same pace,
Yeah,
the same structure of the song, right? In Calypso, you have some slow drawls that a fella have a whole story to tell you, or a fast rhythm, or a groovy one.
Sure.
You know, you have there's so much variation that that's why I can't understand why. And I'm not trying to understand it, to be honest with you. I'm not trying to understand it. And I'm not fighting against it either.
For sure.
But it does make me feel like I have to struggle to go through that change of giving up on the creativity of coming up with your own chord pattern and being yourself. Because sometimes a person's voice determines where they could go with some melody lines and stuff. And you give up on that opportunity. But when I listen to Turner, for example, right? He has a fantastic voice.
Yeah.
And I feel if Turner created his own bed of music,
right.
This is what I want Turner to sound like, he can be different and very, very distinct.
But I think like a producer, when you talk about arrangers too, a producer had to help him with that, I think.
Yeah.
The
arrangers too.
Yeah, the arrangers too. But I always wonder what arrangers they have in today's world. I don't know if they exist.
I don't even know who is an arranger anymore.
The producer seems to be doing the whole job. And I hear a guy in an interview talking about one of the issues with that is he say the arranger and the producer become one.
Yeah.
So he arranging the music, he do everything, and he said he's starting with building the rhythm.
Yeah.
Which he finds to be an awkward thing because now when a man reaching his studio, your voice had to fix for that.
Yeah.
And as he says, as far as I'm concerned, it's way easier to adjust instruments.
Yeah.
So the instruments could go in any octave, just change it. Whereas with a voice, you have a limited range for most people.
Yeah.
So,
but listen, look, if you listen to Super Blue,
right,
you hear in Pelham.
Right.
Pelham understands Super Blue fully.
Right.
He knows what to do to create a distinct music bed, a pattern for Super Blue. So that's what makes it brand, to be honest with you. Right? That's what makes it brand. And I feel we're losing that opportunity to brand the music in a special way by people giving up on the opportunity to be unique.
Yeah.
And they create. So you create a whole bunch. It's like somebody was telling me, I think Tony P was telling me once that he went to Japan.
Right. This is Tony Prescott?
Tony Prescott, yeah. And he went to Japan and they played a whole session, right? They jammed on a whole session. And every song they put, there's a hand in the air and stuff. And when they were finished playing, a Japanese person came up with a little bit of English and said, music was fantastic. Why did you all only play one song?
Oh.
40 minutes.
He had no change. He can't understand.
No. He had one song. Every song was hand in the air and anything like. So you're not because even when you had the greats, right? That era of greats. These fellas will not. If you say hand in the air, Terra not saying hand in the air because Kitchener say hand in the air. Shadow is not saying hand in the air because Brigo say hand in the air. You crazy?
Yeah. Like we went through a whole jump and wave era. It was every single and anybody from Trinidad. It's a series of things.
That's after these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
You ever hear Baron ask that question?
No, that's
you
a good
crazy?
point. Yeah. He have his signature.
Baron not answer that. Baron going and say, Ayo.
Yeah, and you have about 10 of them
ude. And you can't go and do that because you sound like you trying to mimic Baron.
It's true. Yeah, all of them. They had a lot of different little signatures and ad-libs.
Every one of them. The terror. There's the terror. I want to fall. Spoiler.
Yeah.
They lie. Who they say they lie?
You.
Not me. You know, a man that sing every calypso that man sing. They say people lie. And people hardly recognize what he really saying.
What you say? Who's this?
They lie.
That's
Choky.
Choky is a Dubai.
Always accusing people of lying. They lie.
But it's true that, and listen, it's like for a long time, I couldn't tell the difference between voice and earphone halves.
Who is that?
Yeah. Just play like you know.
Now, no voice, but I ain't so sure about Irvin.
Irfan Alves.
Right.
Good. But I mean,
Yeah.
they're two good artists. But I hear what you're saying. Like, that signature, a lot of it changes.
I think voice has it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you see, I always find that when you look at, when you say voice have it, voice is a 2 or 3 times so common champions.
Right.
So you find that when they pass a certain point,
Yeah.
it's all, maybe that's the thing. When they pass a certain point, they start to get the signature and separate themselves from the pack. Because when you look at the things that you're saying Chuck Dust would say or Baron would say, Marshall ain't saying much that anybody else would say either. He have his own style. I have his own. And them men come from that time
They came
too.
from that era.
Yeah, they came from that era. So maybe it's when they start to break through, because at first you're just trying to get in.
Yeah, but even when what I found with these guys, right, the older guys, the stars, the real McCoy, Nelson and them guys, right, they had to be unique to get in.
Yeah, it wasn't getting in otherwise.
Because people would say you're what do they call it, like a
imitation version.
You had to be real, you had to be original.
Yeah.
Right? So when Nello shout out Nello, you know,
Yeah.
and Kitchener say, "Oh, gom,"
Yeah.
right?
Can't copy that.
That's what people have come to love
Right.
about them, you know. If Kitchener was alive and Kitchener walk on a stage and he just say, "Oh, gom," the whole crowd. I mean, you remember one time when Jonathan was graduating from school, we played all the acoustic band played for Sparrow.
Yeah, I
in
remember that.
Naparima
Bowl, yeah.
Right? And Sparrow went out on stage and people didn't know it was him because
Right.
he was sitting on a stool and he was wearing glasses and all that.
Right.
You remember how they
Yeah,
recognized
I
it was him?
remember that. Well, he was sitting down on a stool, and when the curtain opened and they saw, he said something before.
He said, "Hey!" I mean that, and when he
When the
shouted
curtain
out
was
that,
closed?
when the curtain opened,
Right.
it was what he said, and he
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
say
yeah.
a word. It's just the song, the
voice.
expression he made that people realized it was Sparrow.
Yeah.
That is that's the brand that I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
get you. Like, I don't see that with boy, it's something I should look into, because I don't see it much outside of the artists that already break through and gone somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I guess when you're now coming out, you're trying to develop that signature and all that too. So we going back to Best Village. Where you went from? Oh, but there's something I want to ask you about Laventille Road before we move from there. When I was talking about that episode I did with the voices in the ghetto, right? And people interpretation of what the ghetto is. And one thing I wanted to know from you is what was your mindset? Is it something in your mindset that changed? Because one time you were telling me that sometimes you go back there later on in life and you see some people who you leave right there still in the same position.
Yeah.
Sometimes having the same discussion, they didn't evolve. What made you different in that space? While you were physically in the space, was there something that was happening that make you change your mindset?
Well, first of all, we during that time we never used the word ghetto. We didn't know what a ghetto was or that a ghetto existed.
Right.
So to me, the only time I heard the word ghetto is maybe close to being adult or in my 20s is when this whole concept of a ghetto started to come about. But I think the difference I think was leadership, right? Because my parents, as I said earlier on, I grew up with my parents. They were home.
Right.
They were there. I had to go home and meet mommy in the evening. My father was something else too. He wasn't making joke.
Yeah.
You know, so he was very, very strong on us getting an education,
Right.
and and getting out of the area. There was always this stigma in these areas, interestingly enough, right? That your parents would tell you that they're growing you up there, but they don't want you to stay there.
Right.
They're preparing you to be able to leave there. And so my ability to get to go to school in Belmont, which was, I don't know how they must have chucked me in a school in Belmont. I ain't so sure I must do so good in the common entrance. And everybody getting to go to St. George's College and Sawa RC and QRC and all of that, and they send me Belmont. But I'm glad, I'm happy. I come from a class of the best school in the entire country.
Sorry?
Belmont Secondary. I don't know why they went and changed the name to St. Francis. I'm
They
still
had to
vexed with them.
They must have changed it from something to Belmont. I know when it turned the best
Well, it used
school.
to be Belmont. What do you mean?
When was this?
What we have to do again to prove it the best school? David Rudder went to this school, right? I went to the school.
Wow. Wow. I listen.
I can't remember Ron Lafferty and them footballers and them Brian Brong, Big Bird, all them fellas went to the school. Mario Antoine.
Brian Brown.
I mean, we had
Mario Antoine. Nobody don't know Mario.
Intercal champs, boy.
Champs is true.
1975 beat everybody north south full works,
Yeah.
right? But street smart fellas.
That is where it might have a little
Street-smart
thing. That is
fellas.
about it. Street smart.
Fellas.
That kind of smart.
But good people.
For sure.
You know,
For
but
sure.
at least getting a chance to go to school outside of the area meant that I could see how people lived outside of the area.
So most people around there would have gone to school close to any area from primary and secondary school later?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. So I was one of the few fellas who actually went to school in Port of Spain. So I had to go through Port of Spain, go to Belmont. So my kind of frame of reference started to change because I had friends live in Belmont, friends live in St. Anne's, Knockabout all by the Queen's Park, Savannah. You know, learn Port of Spain and a different kind of influence.
Yeah, so it just open up your mind a little bit.
It's
possibilities.
The thing I think that keep people where they are is the notion that where I am is the whole world.
Right.
You know, my culture is the truth. This is how the world is. Right. And that's a very limiting notion, if you ask me.
No, but when you think of it, right, it is limiting, but limiting for all of us. But it's also the truth. You see, what you experience is your world, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
So if it is you get caught up in where there's a mindset or a physical area,
Right.
I don't know how you had to find a way, or if coincidence happen, that you could see something different, and hopefully at the time you see something different, your mind willing to open enough to absorb that, and then your world change.
Yeah.
Because to me, the world change. Almost all the experiences you have is like your own world. You could watch a world on a map how much ever you want. Your world is really, I feel, the things you experience. So here and that.
And it's not a cognitive thing either. You don't make that decision.
Of course not.
Right?
I don't think so at all.
The world happens to you.
Of course.
You know,
the only decision you making, if you want to call it that, is your interpretation. The world will not happen whether you notice it or not.
But you are interpreting it through the same lens. That's why what causes your interpretation to change is when you meet people with other interpretations.
Yeah,
it's not just the experience of being there.
Yeah.
It is when you start to realize that, wait a minute, this person don't see this thing the way that I see it.
Sure.
And that's why it's important to see more people.
Right.
And people who are not like you, different from you in terms of their economic position. Let me give you an example of what I mean.
Yeah.
I used to think, right, that when I saw people living outside of where I grew up, Laventille Road in Sawa, right? Okay, we never thought of it as ghetto, but we knew we didn't have.
Sure.
But by virtue of the fact that I was living on the hill and we had to carry water, tote water every day, and we have no running water and all that kind of stuff, right? I used to feel like if everybody who was living on the flat was better off than us.
They never told no water. They never carried uphill.
No, they don't have that situation, right?
Okay.
So if I meet somebody living, and I remember, and I had a bad sense of a poor self-confidence,
right,
or self-worth, if you want, as a result of that too, because if I see somebody living on the side of the road in Belmont, in a nice house, I feel like they must be kings. They must be doing better than us.
Right.
So my whole perspective on people and my perspective on life came from that frame of reference.
Gotcha.
And it's only when I was no longer living in Laventille Road that I realized that, wait a minute.
Yeah,
that people on the flat catching the nenen.
Just like anybody
else. And in fact, not just like us. We were better off than them.
Yeah.
Because we, you know what I mean? We always had food.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up in a house where anybody was suffering with anything or any issues. And then I come out here and realize that, wait a minute now. Some people living in a nice place, but they're dealing with a sick parent.
Yeah, mental issues.
They're struggling every day.
Sure.
All kind of issues.
Well, you see, that's why I feel for me, and I hear the people is a critical thing. Because I struggle to figure out why so much, I would say, insignificant voices in my life had meant so much. Like people in passing. I always tell you about this. I wonder why first people choose to say some things to you.
Yeah.
And also, why would I retain, like, I really never listened to nothing you say. You used to tell me all kind of good things. When I turn a big man, I started to say, but wait, this man was talking some sense all these years. But there had many times where people who would be perfect strangers to me say something and I hold on to it. So I hear you on that. I think meeting other people and hearing different perspectives. But I think, you see, even when you say the physical space of the hill and the flat, those things are meaning too. Like just seeing different spaces. Like, you know what I always remember? Remember when we were working in Jamaica? We had the office over there. There was a girl working with us one time, and we had to go and do a training session for. It had to be Sony Ericsson at that time, right? Yeah, it had to be Sony Ericsson. And she had never, Jamaica is a little more difficult to find for people to get a visa. And through the letter that the company wrote and things, she got her visa, boy, and we traveled together. And when we reached the airport, just after you come off the gangway in Miami Airport, you have a good walk before you reach immigration and thing. You know that girl say when you come off the gangway, that girl say, I love America. I never forget that, because it's like, and I thinking, but you didn't see nowhere to the airport. All the airports looking the same, but it's almost big. Like, that's right. Sometimes that like physical, the change of scenery. I think it's almost like those things can help change your lens, because I like that term you use when you say a lens that you interpret the world through. Yeah. Sometimes the lens had to get a little more flexible, yes, on all sides. I don't think it's necessarily a thing where people grow up underprivileged or anything, because there have some people who grow up with all the privilege, and the way they see the world is something else. Like, they need to see some more perspective. They need to go in other areas, or like you say, come down off the hill and go on the flat and see where it is really happening.
Underprivileged is a lens.
Well, that's fact. That's fact. Yeah, that's true. Underprivileged is a lens. Yeah, because I was talking about, like, when we had done that episode with the song Voices in the Ghetto. And you remember Pink Panther had done, was it him who did Laughing in the Ghetto?
Yeah.
And she wasn't happy about that song at all. But I like the contrast to the two things, because I asked you, Laventille Road is the first thing you say is a beautiful place. I ain't only expecting the answer. But it was great to me, because I was like, that for me, that's fast forward to, I go in Laventille Road in the 80s. So I don't know what the circumstances was like. Like, I'm not sure, like, no, when you hear Laventille Road, you understand, you had stories about gang and Rasta City and Muslim. I don't know what the stories were like about Laventille Road then, if it had a bad reputation or good or what. I was just glad to be up the hill. Like, coming by you, we playing. It's that about 10, 15 cousins, and I never feel unsafe in Laventille Road at all. Just was nothing.
I say it's beautiful from a topographical.
Yeah, but that's for sure.
Concept. It was a valley.
It was a nice place to see. It still is.
A beautiful valley, You have two hills and a street, one street and a river parallel, right? Running straight through that entire place. If you could step outside of that, maybe overhead, and look at it, it's a beautiful thing to see.
I find even in it is nice, boy, because look at going by Port, when you go out and you look at that hill on the next side, it's an amazing thing to see. So,
and see how people build their houses in the hills.
I always try to figure out how they build them houses in the hills. I don't know.
I don't know how they reach there.
That's some places men go up. I don't know how they reach. I don't know how Granddad and they build up there neither.
Boy, I have no clue. In fact, I found out that they used to live by the river, which is down in the valley.
Right.
By the river. And then because there would have been more space on the hills, so a lot of them gravitated from living on the side of the river to going up the hill where they could get their own space
land to plant something, I suppose. Or get
although he rented the land there. So I remember he used to
rent the land up the hill or by the river?
He used to rent the land on the hill.
Okay.
For some old lady, she used to come and collect that rent. Listen, $10 a year.
$10 for the year?
$10 a year. And that lady used to come for that money. And then I think she got sick or something, and she started sending out her son or her grandson. Right. And the guy was a guy called Moje. Right? And in fact, just recently, I think it was this year, I had reason to talk to somebody named Moje. I think it was somebody who was an event planner for a wedding or something,
right?
Who told me that might be her father or uncle or something like that.
Okay.
He used to come and collect that money, $10 a year. Wow. If you see how my father used to treat that $10 a year, that was so important
serious
to them. That was like a real big issue, A man coming for that money, organize that $10, write up the receipt and thing.
Right. So like, beyond there, when was your first experience moving from, going back to music for a second?
Yeah.
Moving from Best Village.
Yeah.
You knew music was something you wanted to pursue, like as something you do in life, or you was just playing in the moment?
It was so natural, right? It was so natural. Because I started singing first, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that, I'll talk about Best Village, but I could tell you about Parang.
Right.
Because every Christmas time when Daddy and his friends come, Daddy was playing the quattro.
Right.
And then Carl started playing the quattro. But I wasn't playing anything that time. I used to shake a little shack
right.
and fall asleep. And then I started graduating and singing some songs.
Right.
And then I sat playing the quattro and.
So, but granddad learned quattro in the orphanage too, or he
No, he didn't go to the orphanage.
Oh, he was in the
His
orphanage.
younger siblings
okay,
went.
gotcha. So
Yeah.
where he learned quattro?
Me, I know. I
Yeah,
mean,
you just
we
know him
never even
playing
spoke
quattro.
about it.
Okay.
But his brother
Right.
used to play quattro too, Uncle Cyril.
Okay. I didn't know that.
And boy, I can't resist telling you this story about
Tell
Uncle
me.
Cyril with the quattro.
Uh-huh.
You know them fellas like the parang and long ago, even before our time, when you go out to parang, you ain't coming home in a hurry, you know.
Right.
You're out for nights. Some people still do that.
For
And
nights.
Cyril, you're
Plural.
out for nights, yeah, for nights. You going far out and you liming,
You're like,
you're
yes, yeah.
sleeping, you're hanging out.
Right.
So Cyril was married to a lady named Enid. And well, like she was a little upset with him for going up. Usually parents they always have a problem home, eh?
Yeah. They want to be home.
Because not that the problem is when they come home they have to meet a wife who not very happy about them
Yeah,
not being
not
home
being there for days.
all that time.
Uh-huh.
And you know them fellas being who they are.
Yeah.
They have other interests and that kind of thing too, right? So they came home Christmas morning. My boy going out for about 2 nights.
Nice.
Christmas morning. He reach home. Say quattro jamming like hell, boy. And he had a nice quattro strumming thing. Boy, when he reached by the door and Enid opened the door, she grabbed the quattro and she hit him, whap! The whole quattro bust through the man's head like a tie. The quattro going straight.
Let me make sure I'm going to put a time marker on this before
All I would
Stacey
suggest
hear
to
this
you
part.
with your quattro, right? Try and reach back home
Let me
at the same day,
I'm
please.
going to mark the time of this. This is 49 minutes in. I'm not playing these games. I have to make sure Stacey in here that now.
And buy a quattro that a little hard. It have a bass a little hard. If it's
yeah,
too
this
soft,
one, they're going to knock more out.
man, hang up the quattro on him like a tie around in the case, boy.
All parang done.
Parang
I
done.
could take any kind of, you could mash up a quattro, you know, but mash it up after New Year's. That's a sour thing, you know, you quattro mash up
Well, go
Christmas
home
Day.
after New Year's if you want that to happen.
This is the words of
Don't go
Kenneth
home
Corbie.
Don't go home before.
Stacey, I want you to know that these are not
When
my
you're
words.
out, you're out.
This is your father-in-law saying these words. So from where went with the music after West Village?
But I think after Best Village, when did I kind of end? Maybe I think it was more things in school
Right.
and hanging out with Roland Gordon
Right.
and doing that. And once I got there, once I finished school and I started to work 1978, 79, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I started to get a little bit more interested. I wanted to play in bands now. I was interested in playing in a band. So
Right.
I hang out with some fellas somewhere, playing a little thing, playing my little 2-chord.
But Roland Gordon was a band man or a producer?
He was a music teacher.
Oh, teacher. Okay, good.
And he would play, he used to play a nice guitar.
Right, okay.
And strangely enough, right? If you hear Chucky, you hear him.
Serious?
They look exactly the same
Brilliant.
and they sound exactly the same. Right? So there's a clone.
Right.
Right. And then, so I would play in school and he would take me around with him to various schools. Like I went to Diego Martin Secondary
Right.
and played for their choir. I would play for Barataria, Best Village. And I'd be playing parang and stuff. So we always
Yeah, in the music.
some little musical opportunity somewhere.
Right.
And then the next thing happened was that I started to play. I played with Song Revolution. 1981, boy.
But how you reached the song? How you get in song rev?
That's I don't remember.
Serious?
I'm wondering now how on earth I eventually got. I had known this guy, I think, named Keith Maynard. I don't even know what became of Keith Maynard.
Right.
But Keith Maynard had a guitar, a Gibson Les Paul electric guitar,
Yeah, it's good stuff.
a black guitar.
That's
I
real
can't
McCoy.
remember buying it, but that is the guitar I have home.
It's 50 man guitar. This is on record. I'm glad to hear this.
I think he might have given me it because I can't remember where I met him and how I met him.
Right. Oh, so that black electric guitar you have, that is up to today?
That's the same guitar.
Okay.
But I don't know if he was going away. He was a Ras,
Right.
right? I don't know if he was going away or something. But I didn't know him for a long time. And for some reason, either he gave me that guitar or sold me the guitar.
Right.
I didn't steal it. Right? And I enjoyed playing that guitar, boy, for years. That guitar gave me real joy. But I went to Song Rev 1981.
Right.
And
So with that guitar, is a guitar you play in Song Rev when you was
yeah.
So
yeah.
Colin Lucas would have been in Song Rev at the time?
Oh, yeah.
He would have been the founder of the band and thing or so.
I think there were some other guys before Colin,
Okay.
but they kind of they went away. I don't know. They were more into kind of reggae
Right.
music, I believe.
But from what you tell me, Song Rev used to play all types of music. There wasn't just when they play out. You used to play all different. It wasn't just soca.
Everything, yeah,
Oh.
everything. R&B, you know,
That was
real
how the
jazzy
bands
stuff.
were then.
If what? Sorry?
That's how the bands were then generally.
Yeah.
Like, and who was the other big bands? Who was the main competitors back then?
Song Revolution, we had Chandelier.
Right.
Right, Carl Jacobs was in Chandelier at that time. You had fellas like, well, you know, when you reach 60, you don't remember names straight off the top, right?
This is good.
Robin Imam Shah.
A lot of admissions coming out here that we could use.
Yeah. We had Charlie's Roots. I mean,
Right.
you
So
know.
Charlie's Roots would have been Rudder already.
Yeah. Well, Rudder came in a little bit, but I think Charlie's Roots was around before Rudder. Rudder was a kind of late entrant.
So who would have been? You remember who their lead singer would have been? Who would have been the star in Charlie's Roots?
If I'm not mistaken, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Tambu used to be there before Rudder.
Oh, okay.
I stand corrected on
Yeah,
that.
we can
But
check
I
it.
believe Tambu was there before Rudder. There was another guy who used to sing in the band.
Okay.
Um,
But you're saying that for Chandelier, Ronnie would have come after Carl Jacobs?
yeah.
So Carl Jacobs was a star before Carl and Carol was a thing? Or Carl and Carl Jacobs was always, you remember that?
That's a good one. I think Carl, well, you know where they started, right? They used to sing backup in the tent, you know.
Okay. Two of them?
Two of them.
Okay.
And Rudder.
Really?
Yeah, Rudder used to sing backup in the tent, you know.
So just backing up everybody?
Maybe, I don't remember which tent they were in. And so you know how it works in a tent. You're kind of singing a tent.
Right.
So every tent has its own group.
Right.
Its
So
own
in
backup group,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
whoever is singing in that tent, you do the backup for them. But that's what they used to do.
Okay.
And I know Carl and David were really good. And they're still really, really good.
Yeah.
But I can't remember if you could separate Carol.
And Carl.
I can't see a separation between Carl and Carol.
You know, the thing with as you're talking about the tent, right? Backup singers had to be, they have a hell of a career. Because I remember anytime the backup singers used to come out, sometimes they change costume and they just come back out.
Yeah.
And always used to wonder two things. Like, how you going to remember? Because I come in as the Calypsonian. I had two songs to sing. I remember my two songs I go on, but as a backup singer, I had to remember everybody's song.
Yeah.
And also the range that you had to have as a backup singer. It could show you why Carl and Carol and David Rudder would have been so good. There was somebody else who was a backup singer too who had went on to have a big career. I can't remember who it is now, but I never knew David Rudder was singing backup.
Rudder used to sing his little backup and thing, man.
Yeah. So, Song Rev, what was the experience like for you there as a musician? How much you went in with, and when they come out, what was you playing and singing and things like that?
Well, I never sang a note.
In Song Rev?
Yeah, nobody in Song Rev knew that I could sing.
How come?
Or that I used to sing. I don't know. I mean, I guess at the time they were looking for a guitar player.
Great, so you went
and I went in as a guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go in as a guitar player and you meet fellas like Colin singing,
Yeah, I guess,
don't try to sing that. Leave that alone, right? Especially if you go in there and you hear, I can't sing them love songs and things.
Right.
The only love song I could sing is a song I went by Edwardson once.
Right.
After Carnival season, and I hear Edwardson tell the lead singer, we singing the love song. Right? And when he counting the love song, I nearly fainted. You know? He say 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the fella say, I love you. I love you. That's my kind of love song.
From now, every year we paranging, we had to open with that. Anytime we go and the crowd too far and people think we jamming that up front.
Boy, if you hear pace on a love song, bass and pace.
You waiting to hear
but
what to
when
play.
Colin had to sing, she's faced the hardest time you could imagine. And the man had to do all that with the voice.
What?
You know? And slow down the music. And you're Colin, fantastic keyboard player, musician all around, you know? Extend that chord for a whole minute.
Yeah.
Not for me.
You ain't able to that.
No. So I used to stay quiet with that singing thing, but I just love to jam my little strums and things.
Right.
On them things. 1981.
81 was when you started. So what was your favorite part of being in a band? Live performance, studio, or fete, or on the road? Where you feel was your favorite experience?
Plenty different things, eh? But I tell you what, I mean, there was something about a practice session.
Right.
When you're getting it right, there's a kind of sweetness when you when the band beginning to sound good, because you're starting at a point where the horns have to get it right,
everybody's
and you're
shaking.
stopping and starting and stopping and starting and thing. And then when it comes together, boy, that's a magical moment.
Yeah.
That's a magical moment. So I used to like that a lot. And then you could explore. But for me, the feeling of the bass, not the sound of the bass.
I get you.
The feeling of the bass is addictive. And the bass player in Song Rev, I mean, we were in love, man. This is a fella called Errol Hazel. Late Errol Hazel. He died a couple of years ago.
That's what they used to call Basie?
Basie.
Right.
When Basie was a big fella, and a man hand's big boy. When Basie put his hand on that bass, boy, you used to feel bass, brother. You used to feel bass, and it was addictive. So I would really just be encapsulated into that. And Basie and I had a way that we would lock into a nice rhythm.
Right.
You know, so that was really good.
Well, you remember I tell you about Panorama, right? My experience in it, not being able to hear nothing.
Yeah.
I remember going in Song Rev band room one time when you were on, was that Patna Street somewhere close to the mall?
Yeah.
And boy, listen, there was a little kind of, where it was a basement or something, or we used to go down in a little space.
It wasn't a basement, it was just a downstairs, really.
Boy,
but you had to step down from the street.
Right. I think they turned it into a hotel now, Culture Inn.
Yeah,
That's
Collins,
space,
that's
right?
Collins Place, yeah.
Right.
It's Culture Crossroads Inn or something like
Culture
that.
Crossroads.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I went down in that band room. Well, first, what age I had to be then to be able to remember this?
Boy, about 8.
Serious?
Yeah.
Well, boy, listen, I remember, that's Zachary age now.
Well, look at that. I remember you do a breakdance once on a Song Rev stage, boy. We set up in Lions, right?
I think I heard a story.
We set up in Lions, boy. I don't know what got into you that day, boy, because you wouldn't usually be so outward with things. It was really cool. You play by yourself and thing. But somehow you find yourself on that stage, like the lead singer.
Yeah, right.
And the band was taking I don't know if it's the band or the DJ was playing something.
Right.
We went to do a level. Boy, and you break away with a piece of breakdance. All them fellas clapping and thing going. And a man on his shoulder spinning. I say, hey, what you doing, boy? The man clothes getting dirty.
So don't tell Zachary nothing again.
Problem is, I had to answer for that now. Where I carry the boy.
You still answering for that up to today. But you know, I remember, I don't know if that would be because you always tell me about that story, and I remember being at a setup in Lions.
Yeah.
And there was more than one stage.
Yeah.
And it was the first time for me, I see there was somebody who had an electric drum kit.
Right.
So I remember hitting that thing, but that
That's
was
the
somebody
day.
else's
That's the
band
same
at
day.
the same
Yeah,
time.
that's the same day. I think it was the first time we were going to use an electric drum kit.
Oh, that would have been your band?
Yeah, that was
Okay, good.
It was
I
on the Song Rev
I
setup.
always thought I was on somebody else's stage or something like that.
Oh no. We
But
had
yeah.
set up. We set up inside Lions that time, and we were actually facing north.
Okay.
We wouldn't usually do that.
But the setup, the stage would have been in the yard.
No,
It was inside?
it was inside.
Okay.
As soon as you walk in, we set up right there. As soon as you walk in, under the shed, then
Right, yeah.
facing north.
Oh, okay.
Usually, like for carnival fetes. But the last one I remember playing at, we were on the northern side of the room,
Right.
facing south.
That would be the better way because then you have the covered part, the uncovered, everything.
Right,
You're going back that
but
way.
I don't know if at the time that we did that, it was rainy season or something.
Yeah,
and
it could
maybe
be a smaller fete too.
Yeah,
So they
that's
cut
right,
off some
yeah.
of the space. Yeah, but I remember going down in that band room and my first thought was how small it was.
Yeah, it
Because
was very
hearing you
small.
talk and think, I thinking of a band room as a stage.
Yeah.
So when you say band room, I think orchestra on a
Okay,
stage.
right.
So I
Gotcha.
excited. I remember I remember asking you about this to go all the time. Boy, you carry me in there. That is the loudest thing I ever heard
Yeah,
in my
boy.
life.
That used to be loud, yeah.
I
But
can
it's
hear one
close,
instrument from the
everybody,
next.
I mean,
It's tight.
That's right there.
Well, now that I'm playing music now, I could appreciate that closeness is bring something.
and it's important, yeah.
Yeah. It's bring something, especially I suppose for rehearsals and things. I understand what you mean when you get that feeling when that music lock, you don't want to stop playing.
No.
Yeah,
And when
yeah,
you get it right. And Colin was a hard taskmaster, yeah? Yeah. Colin's a perfectionist when it comes to the music. And I remember fellas who playing the horn players.
Right.
Hated that boy.
Yeah.
That man could hear a wrong note somewhere at the bottom of all that. You know,
Yes.
slight flat note or something. And, Colin used to say, I don't want to hear pop. I don't want to hear pa, pa. I want to hear pop. bah.
Yeah, it was
Right?
tight.
He was very, very critical to making sure you could get those note endings crisp and tight. So honestly, when Songrev went out there, it was slightly different, not slightly, very different in terms of the quality of delivery for especially the horns.
Right.
And I would like to think the guitar too, but
Well, the type of reason the horn men complain, you know, because you could play a guitar whole day when the men blowing and do that over and over.
boy, that's well pressure.
It make them pass out. But so that experience outside it, what was it like playing in fets for you?
I used to like fets, right? Certain things about fets I used to like.
Right.
But there was always I always had a challenge because I didn't learn to play formally.
Right.
And I didn't have the rudiments. I used to be nervous about having to take a solo or play, right?
Okay.
And
Even
just
if you
the
have
idea of it, you know? So I would have to get into it myself, you know? So that's why I developed on my guitar a lot of excuses for not playing a solo. Little chops, little things that I could do to make the music sound interesting. Right? So that, you know, I'm not kind of just sitting on a chord all day long, you know, that kind of thing. But my the real high point for me in playing in a band, you see Carnival Day?
Right.
Playing music on a moving vehicle.
Monday and Tuesday, you mean?
Well, yeah, Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah,
playing music on a moving vehicle.
Right, yeah.
That is the highlight.
Okay.
For me. I don't know what it is about the movement of the music and the bass. Not even just the music, the movement of the vehicle that I'm on.
Okay.
And the bass traveling. And in my mind, I kind of see that almost as steps, you know, the bass making steps and moving.
Right.
And the vehicle moving too. Especially if you have certain movements in the song and the melody line. And that used to get that's a high, boy.
More than the fets?
More than the fets, more than the fets.
Okay.
To me, just being able to play on the road, I miss that the most.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's one of the things too, like when you compare, you're talking about musicians and their signature, right? Or lead singers, the stars. It's one of the things that plenty of people today wouldn't know at all.
Yeah.
Because they don't have bands on the road. I believe that, you know Marissa Kagan and them?
Yeah.
They were lead singers in Divine Echoes.
Yeah.
And Etienne Charles.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the band is, if it's Roots, because they did do lead singing for Roots at some point, right?
I don't, I'm not sure.
I think so, because I remember something they did in Kaiso Blues with the bands doing the shows. Like, I know Songrev had done that and stuff too.
Right.
I believe that when they said Charlie's Roots, they had two of them as the lead singers.
Okay.
But they could sing. They good.
Yeah.
But they do a band on the road every year.
Okay.
And Etienne Charles is part of it, so they put together a repertoire, I suppose, of all new songs, old and new and stuff. But I'm not sure what band they play with.
Okay.
But that was the experience. And this year when I played with Humor this year for the first time. And Roy Cape was on the road.
Wow.
And listen, the DJs is an experience too. And it's going back to something you say about the rhythms. So to stray from that a little bit, when I went to, there's a fete called Private Ryan does a fete called Soca Brainwash. Every carnival. It's one of the best fetes I ever went. The vibe and everybody's just been in a good mood when they go there. But this year, the DJs, it's a straight DJ fete, which I never used to like, but I like now. But the DJs play the same set of rhythms over and over. It was painful. I'm not going back that fete again.
Yeah.
And that's a thing where I feel that the bands always use. You would never get that when you go brass festival or customs.
Not really, not true, because to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons I got sick of it. And I didn't want. Because what happened is that the band started to play the top, what they call the top 20,
right,
at the time, but it wasn't top 20. It was like top 7.
So when when Chandelier done play, you're going to play the same thing again?
You're playing the same thing. I mean, the thing about it is that so everybody is going on the road playing the same music. And it was really stale after a time.
When you say on the road or in fets?
On the road, I mean, fets, road, everything.
No, the road is that is something I couldn't stand on the road.
Yeah.
You see that constant road march and top 5 thing?
Yeah.
I can't take that.
It was happening in fets too. Right? So because the notion is that if you want to be out there and remembered, and also, for example, Colin was very strong on how the band is branded.
Right.
Making sure we play last. So he wanted to be the last person you remembered in the fete.
It makes sense.
Right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? But you have to play what people want to hear. That's the concept. And people want to hear the top songs. 20, the top songs. I don't have a problem with that. I don't mind the top songs, but oh God, give me something different now.
Yeah, you want to play as a musician.
I remember, I want to play something.
Got you.
I remember playing in a band in the 90s, maybe 92, Avengers.
Yeah, I remember when you went to
right?
Avengers.
And Avengers was into that same top 10, top 20 thing. And then we had lit a few different songs for the fete, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to do a song called Fungonong.
Yeah, I remember it's
by
that. That's
Duke.
Yeah.
This Fungonong really sweet, dancing on the street, everyone you meet. Ba 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 da, ba ba da, the Fungonong sweet, 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 sweet. I love me Fungonong, ay ay ay, I love me Fungonong, boy. And everybody is like just fed up of hearing all the top songs. And then when we start doing that one, because you were in, just around Memorial Square, waiting to go on stage.
That's
and everybody just taking a little chip.
That's the worst part.
Well, it could be nice, but when you get there with what people hearing all day long, it's like, it's tiring.
The DJs doing the same thing too.
Yeah, and when you start to drop that Fungonong, you could see people pick up a new life.
People need that. People need that.
As a matter of fact, when we this song Get In Your Section, Get In Your Section, 1990, that's 1992.
Right.
In 1991, we actually sang Get In Your Section like an extempo.
Avengers,
okay. Yeah, just before we went on stage. So we were waiting as usual. Right? And Big Mike was there, Big Mike, and he had a guy with him.
Ian McKenzie.
Mm-hmm. And they put in the bands together. It was Barbarossa.
Right.
And they put in the sections together.
Right,
Saga Rosa, whatever, right? And so Big Mike got on the mic and he's saying, get in your section. Get in your section.
Right.
Everybody get in your section, And so the drummer started a little rhythm.
Right.
And a little rhythm started. I just started chop a little thing on my guitar. Check. And you get in your section, check, get in your,
Right.
And that's how we wrote Get In Your Section.
Right.
Right there. We didn't write the whole thing there.
Yeah, but you fill it out after.
We got it ready for the following year. But you could see people revive a little bit.
You need that.
You need, so.
That's the issue up to today. Like one of the first times I played Mass was when after Barbarossa, part of Barbarossa would break out and form Poison.
Yeah.
And then Poison would be what Tribe is today to Masqueraders. Poison was that on steroids. Poison was all over town at the same time. So Poison used to be, there was one time, I think the last year they played, Poison was waiting to go in the Savannah and crossing the stage downtown at the same time. It was just too big. But boy, listen, I stand up by the hospital waiting to the same stretcher and them men play. And remember too that in the late 90s, the songs that was the big hits, the Road Mad songs. It wasn't no big musical, nothing. It was repetitive songs and boy, them men play that. I walked from that Savannah straight home. I never crossed that stage. Wow. I just walk and never stop walking.
Yeah.
I felt like there's a story with the Pied Piper where I said a mice being led by somebody playing music and thing, and all them end up and you see, I said, this can't be right. I can't be following this music truck playing the same tune. I go end up dying with the rest of mice here.
No.
But,
you see,
go ahead.
I think part of the problem is that, I don't feel it's a problem because it's a problem for me, but not for many people.
Yeah.
So it maybe not. I'm willing to concede it's not a real problem.
For people lining up there, I feel it's a problem.
Well, they're paying and they're going to do it every time. So maybe it's not a problem.
Because it's only a small part of the experience now, you see. Like plenty bands don't go. Like Tribe ain't going in the Savannah. The men build the Soca Dome. I went in the Soca Dome. The first year would have been year before with Tribe.
Yeah.
It's very different to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The road march or the big song will only start to play just before you go on the stage. And they wait to go on that Soca Drum stage not long.
Okay.
So that's Savannah. I think we crossed the stage. No, Yuma, we went there this year, I believe. There was somebody Fantasy was another band we used to cross the Savannah stage with. But the wait is similar. Because now, there was a time when you used to turn the music down real low by the hospital. I don't see too much of that again. It seems like if the music is played at the same level.
People, they still come down by the hospital there?
I'm trying to remember now because I can't remember passing right in front of the hospital.
No, I don't know if they allow you to do that anymore. It used to be on the other side of Memorial Square, which is in front of the museum.
No, well, it definitely don't pass there now. They pass on the outside. But I'm trying to remember how they pass, boy. Because if you're on the outside of that, you're pretty much coming up from by the hospital.
Oh, really?
No, yeah, we come up by the hospital, man.
Okay.
Fantasy used to start at the corner on New Street. And where's the hospital? Charlotte Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to start at that corner and come straight up. But I don't know, they'll turn the music down or nothing. But I don't remember feeling that way in in fantasy too much. Maybe the DJs figure out to mix it up.
Yeah.
But there was a point when we left the lunch stop this year. Because the lunch stop is one of the best times of the day for a man like me. You have to lie down there and eat something and take a sleep. And then when we came out, it was on St. Mary's grounds.
Right.
So when you come back onto Serpentine Road there, they wanted to head down by Harvard's, down by Roxy.
Right.
But you know, there's a major junction carnival time. And
Right.
the band ended up there for a couple hours. Now, when people done eat and everybody lazy, bands trying to pass one another, it was bad.
Yeah.
But blacks and them being on that truck make all the difference to humor there because I find like a full band could feel the vibe of the people sometimes better than a DJ. Slow it down, speed it up, play a rhythm with no song,
exactly.
with no vocals. There are options.
You see, my interpretation of it is that a lot of DJs are not really musicians.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a musician to tune in.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
the key and a cue into what people want and how they're responding.
You know, you see the difference too with the DJs that have that musical vibe that you're talking about, you know, because some of them just playing.
Yeah, some
from
fellas nobody equipment.
Yes.
And they have plenty records, they have plenty links or whatever they use now. Them fellas real good at that. Find that thing on a laptop real fast.
Quick.
But in terms of how you help people to enjoy themselves, you know,
that's lacking.
Fellas talking and things like, you know, like how DJs like that talk and stop the music and all that jazz. But the combination of music and how they engage people.
So like when I play with fantasy, I'm looking for City Duchess. I'm looking for her truck. Number one, she don't talk too much. And then I don't understand this thing with Carnival where you have to only play music from this year. I find it's killed the whole thing.
Yeah.
We have decades of soca, big songs.
Yeah.
And people just playing the same thing from the same people over and over and over. But you know, one of the things that changed in my time too with bands, in fets, we didn't have that repetitive experience you're talking about, you know, because I maybe only fet for a year or two. Like when I now start fetting, that used to happen.
Right.
But by the time I really fetted, bands didn't used to play other people's music.
Oh, okay.
So you find that Marshall will play a full set of his music alone.
Right.
And then when for me, it was looking forward to a band to hear their songs.
Right.
So we get attached to the lead singers a lot.
Okay, got you.
We used to be attached to. So when you're hearing Chandelier, it's because we waiting to hear Ronnie.
Right.
You know what I mean? But Ronnie was the person.
And the whole set you're gonna hear.
That is it.
Eddie Charles.
We used to wait to hear Eddie. Eddie was crazy. Eddie was never. I heard him on the radio in an interview the other day. For a man who music didn't used to play on the radio and thing, Eddie was a fet master. Boy.
Yeah, but he was the fet master.
Oh my god!
That's ever since. No, there was another guy too, a skinny, dark, tall guy.
Sean Carruth?
No.
I remember Eddie and Show in Winchester.
Nah, I can't remember. I know. Not well, even Sherwin.
Sherwin, they were with Traffic.
There was a really, really wiry guy.
What band you remember what band he was with?
Might have been the same band with Eddie.
With Eddie.
Eddie was Taxi.
Traffic. Eddie was Taxi?
Not Taxi, Traffic, right?
Yeah, Traffic.
Yeah.
I can't remember
the name escapes me.
But he had his own songs. He was doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he had some nice songs too. He was around for a while.
Right. Well, that was the vibe. It was like you're waiting on them. You're waiting to see Marshall or Ronnie McIntosh. Who was Roy Cape lead singer then, boy? Before
Not
Blacks. Blacks was around so long?
Blacks around.
Oh, you know who was Roy Cape lead singer? Destra.
Oh, okay.
Destra. So you had to wait and hear Destra and them and them things. So and then it slightly start transitioning now because I feel we like as an audience, you get so attached to the lead singer more than the band.
Right. Yeah.
You start seeing the lead singer go on their own now. So that you find Ronnie. By the time Ronnie was doing Donkey and How It Go Look and things, Ronnie coming by himself.
Yeah.
That was a vibe too because now you don't know what band they will come out with. I always find Roy Cape used to do the best with that. Most artists who just coming out.
Right.
He used to come out with Roy Cape. Marshall had stopped for a long time. He didn't. Well, anybody used to run out with any band kind of thing. So I suppose I always just wonder how bands will be prepared for so much songs for the carnival.
I feel that I think Roy Cape used to play for Spectacular. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Roy Cape band used to play for Spectacular. So a lot of those fellows who came through Spectacular singing.
It's true. They were going to fets with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. So it's almost like we got attached to the lead singer so much that the lead singer didn't need the so Destra left Roy Cape.
Right.
It take a while, I find, too, for Roy Cape to catch back. Because I believe Roy Cape had gone before, it could be before Blacks or before he got as popular as he is.
Yeah.
Olatunji and this, I think it's Carol Jacobs' daughter, Carl and Callie daughter.
Yeah.
Trini Jacobs, I think they call her.
Yeah.
And they were good too, but they see the thing with the band performer at that time, the band performer had to be a real entertainer.
Yeah,
You're not singing your own songs, you're this, that, but I think Blacks is maybe the only person now who keep the old tradition of bringing the songs that is hits, staying with our band, and delivering it through the forum of our band. So it will be interesting to see how they, keep retired now, to see how they carry that through.
Yeah.
Because if he just go on his own and take bookings and thing, and then how popular was it for fetes or events back then, where the lead singer take a booking with just a DJ? That is a lot of that.
I never saw that.
Serious?
Hardly ever saw that. A lead singer from a band taking a booking with a DJ elsewhere.
Yeah, so like Shadow will just take if it have a fete.
No, you mean a calypsonian?
Yeah,
not a band lead singer.
No, not a band lead singer. The soca men. So Super Blue was never lead singer in a band, right?
Let me tell you something. When you see no, I don't think so. But when you see fellas like Super Blue come to sing, them fellas ain't singing with no DJ, you know.
It's an happening.
Them men want to hear drums and brass live behind them. Yeah, this whole idea of singing with a DJ and thing, that's a recent, I mean, it isn't that recent, but because I'm talking about 30 years ago, right? Or more. Mm-hmm. But at the time, in their heyday, bam. They come into, you had to play their music because you would have been playing their music anyway.
Right.
Because them fellas in the top.
So when you go at DJ Fets, I know artists just DJ play.
I don't even know if they ever had. I don't know about DJ Fets. Really, I mean, DJ Fets was not like a carnival thing then. The DJs would be, but you would hardly ever see a DJ Fet for carnival. That's gonna bust.
Serious?
Yeah. You better have a big band like Charlie's Roots, really? Fireflight, Song Revolution, Kalyan.
Ain't selling no tickets.
Taxi. Yeah, that's what a carnival fete used to be.
Well, you know,
and that's what people coming out to see.
Yeah.
And interestingly, right, what they would do is that even before, at one time, the Calypsonians really never used to sing out there on that circuit like that, you know. The Calypsonians used to be in the tent.
Right.
The Calypsonians were not as in the fetes. So it was your lead singer in the band that was carrying your band. And people knew the band for who the lead singers were. Carl and Carol, they had their own following for Chandelier.
Right.
Colin and Oba had their own
Songrev
following in Songrev, and whoever else, you know, in the various bands. Rolfie singing with Kalyan and stuff. So people knew them.
Right.
And that was a different circuit. And then maybe in early 80s, you find a few, because I remember playing for Songrev in 81 and Super Blue coming to sing with us in UE Fet. You talk about
so
UE Fet.
So before then, that wasn't a big thing, like people coming to sing with the band?
You mean Calypsonians?
Yeah.
Not really.
Like so a man like Super Blue, what he doing Fet season? Nothing?
Super Blue and these fellas in Carnival season, I mean, their thing was really, singing in the tent. Right? And but I don't really remember them prior to 1981. And maybe it's because I wasn't a Fet person prior to that, right?
Yeah,
I was never really a Fet person. I was always a musician.
Right, you're on stage.
But But after that, I would definitely see them coming to perform, because when you go into a Fet, it's first of all it's band, and then it's the Calypsonians, the big stars coming, on the stage with them.
So that when you say Calypsonian, you mean soca artists? Everybody used to be called. So when Super Blue Boy, he's a Calypsonian in terms of what everybody used to call it. It was no soca artist versus Calypsonian them time.
Nah. Once you have a fast song that people could dance to, regardless of who you are.
Okay. So everybody falling as Calypsonian. Like, no, if you say Calypso, he wouldn't call Marshall a Calypsonian at all.
Right.
But I suppose when he come out, that's how it was.
Yeah. At that time, they used to have, before soca came about, people used to dance to Calypso, you know.
Right.
Sparrow had people dancing all over the place.
I always find it a strange, and I wonder if necessary, distinction, to be honest. Because while we off mic just now, you're talking about bungee, right? This was one of the tricky ones for me, because when that era, I felt started to come, and my years always mixed up. It had to be late 90s.
Right.
By that time, I finished in the levels and things are going out. And the band, the fete I was going was Brass Festival, Fire. Fire used to be early.
Right.
So Fire was the first fete for the season. Right. And what I find was different then is that you and that's why I like Eddie Charles. Because you go into a fete and you never hear the song.
Right.
But Eddie and them could play first, last, or whatever in that fete. And when he come with them songs, there's no way. Eddie and them rocking fets.
Yeah.
And Ronnie McIntosh was the same way. Steve Seeley and them, who was with Atlantic at the time, was the same thing. The fets used to move. It almost didn't matter what the big hit or what the song was. The band used to move the fets.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it started changing now, as I was saying, to the artist being artist driven.
Right.
So somewhere it shift from the band name being on the flyer.
Right.
To the artist being the main. And you know where you used to see it a lot? Fire used to put up a billboard.
Right.
By fire services on Ryston Road. And there was a time when it would say Atlantic traffic. So it was traffic with Eddie Charles and Atlantic with Steve Seeley. And then all of a sudden it started to be artist face alone on that.
Right.
And Bungie catch the tail end of that. And Bungie get real flack. Men like Uncle Neville and Hackam and them home by me. Them men hate. Well, them hated David Rudder. So them hate was building up for years. And them said David Rudder singing ballad.
Yeah.
And they start... The separation between Calypso and soca artists was already there. But then they start to say Bungie now is a ragga soca artist.
Right.
You remember that? And ragga soca is the worst era it ever had in Calypso and soca for me.
Yeah.
It was boring. It's had a few people who do it good.
Right.
But Bungie, I find, up to today, is one who, yes, he had a kind of Jamaican element to his style and thing.
Right.
And you know, funny that you should talk about him signature style when they come out with. You could see Bungie come from that time because when Bungie came out, Bungie, his shoes red, his suit red, hair red, glasses red. He had a full style. And they give him a fight and thing, but he was undeniable. Because Bungie was the only young artist. Taking Marshall would have been, must he his age, but Marshall out in the 80s, right?
Right.
Bungie was the only artist who bust in them times who could have come on a stage with any band. And destroy. When he sing Gimme That Brass and thing, he had and youths real follow him.
Oh yeah.
And he breed a whole set of people they might deny.
He breed people?
Yes. And he you
careful.
A whole set like men like KMC and them, they came and that was so the ones who keep some of the elements, even though they bring something new, they keep some of the elements of what was there in Calypso and soca before. To me, that's the people who's reached the finish line and who's ended up being legends over time. You can't go so far from it.
Well, he tried to do that too, eh? He tried to do that, at least in the way he languaged his presence in the business, because at one time he actually had to apologize for trying to say that he is the one who took Calypso to where it was. You know, it was a ridiculous kind of position. He's changed a lot, you know.
He had a few statements like that in the early days.
He allowed it to get to his head. And he didn't realize that for Calypso and soca music to be where it is now, there were people who were plying the trade all year long. Fellas going out to the Virgin Islands, fellas out in Bahamas, fellas out there. I went to Antigua some time ago and listened to people talking about Sparrow and Short Shirt and these fellas, and the kind of work they're doing all during the year to continue to promote the music. So there's nobody starting this.
No, well,
you're not starting it and you're not ending it.
That's right. Well, you see, when them fellas come out, they get so much resistance from an older generation that they start to put up resistance to that too. And everything they had wrong them was youths. Yeah. But he quickly realized that if you do that, you're not going to reach far. There's no way.
There's not a claim you could make. You know, there are a lot of people who clear the path for you.
And some of them was next year because while he was a big star, Marshall was still a big star. But Iowa is huge. Yeah. It's no fets without them, and Eddie Charles was still on the scene. So it's not that you can't get away with that. So he
but you're right about the fact that they had a lot of opposition and resistance from the older guys. But let me tell you, I was playing in Kitsch Tent. I played at Kitsch from about 1983 to 85 or something like that. Right?
Okay, wait, hold on. So while you was in Song Rev, you was in Kitsch Tent at the same time?
Boy, you asking me things that I can't remember some of them dates. You know. But
you remember doing both at the
actually
same time?
I was not.
Okay.
Because I was in Song Rev. I left Song Rev in 1982.
Okay.
And I must have been, jump in a little band here, take a little thing for carnival and stuff. But always around the music. So an opportunity came up.
Sometime.
I started at Kitchen in 1983. But what was I saying? I can't remember what I said.
I was off the
Right, so 1983 I started
by Kitsch.
With Kitsch. And I remember Pretender. Old Pretender, the real extempo smart man.
Yeah.
He's a man who used to know how to get people to give him money and thing while he's singing.
Okay.
He used to arrange for people to go and pass a hat and collect some money. And then he said, you see what that man do?
So wait, in the tent?
What?
Serious?
Pretender was a king, boy. Pretty sing a song, and in the middle of the song, the piece of lyrics song so good. Pretty everything set up, you know.
So bad.
A man come wrong and hand him a 5 on stage while he's singing. Another person come from the other and hand him a 5.
Right.
And he extempo a verse and say, look at what these fellas let them do. What about all you? And people streaming, coming.
This is in Kitchener, then?
Any tent pretenders, you know, right? Wherever you sing.
Again,
Classic, right? But he used to sing with Kitch. He and Kitch were really, really good buddies.
But I remember you said they were the ones who get in the tent. What was it? How it started off for you, the tent?
Well, I was working telephone company, TSTT.
Mm-hmm. Oh, telco.
And telco. And I had a good friend there, a girl named Bernard Woodley.
Right.
Who I used to, because I would live in Samoa, she was living in Mova.
Right.
So a lot of evenings she used to go home with me and give her a job over the Lady Young, right?
Right.
And then we lime in and I would stop by her sometimes. Her father used to like Calypso. I didn't realize her father was Kitchener manager.
Oh.
A fellow called Sonny Woodley. He died now.
Okay.
And one day, because I had already played in with Song Rev, right?
Right.
And I remember listening to Kitch, one of Kitch's songs, Home by Them. And the name of the song was The Symptoms. Symptoms, you're getting the symptoms.
Yeah,
For me, they say I'm crazy.
Oh, yeah, I know this.
Right? That
Right.
one's...
Okay.
So, and I hearing the song now, and the guitar, I think Kenny Phillips was the one who played the guitar, some nice chops. But it was kind of like my style of playing, right?
Right.
And sometime during the season the year before, Oba, who was the sax player and a singer in Song Rev, asked me if I played on the record.
Oh.
So here I am by Woodley, and I said to him, I said, a fella asked me if I played on our record. And he said, you could play guitar like that, boy? I said, of course.
And you guitar in your car?
No, the guitar was in the car. That was a working day. I got me coming home from work. So I told him, of course. He said, if you could play like that, they're looking for a guitarist in the tent. I said, in Kitch tent?
Yeah, that's
See,
a dream
because by
for
that time
you.
I know about that. I said, that's like I just always wanted to be able to play in an orchestra and play calypso music.
Right.
I used to dream about playing for Nelson. As a boy, listening to Nelson music. I love his music. So he told me, if you want to play, go by Kitch, Rainorama,
Right.
Sunday morning, carry a guitar, tell him Sonny Woodley send you.
Oh, okay.
So boy, I am a little blue Datsun 120Y PU 1593. And I pull up in the yard in Rainorama this Sunday morning about 10 o'clock.
Right.
Kitch was in the porch together with Pretender and another fellow. And I ain't carry my guitar inside because I worried, I never really met these fellas, and I hear all kind of things about them as dread fellas to deal with and stuff.
But you don't want nobody see the guitar in your teeth now, so you keep that.
not the electric guitar.
Oh, box guitar you went with?
I went with a box, right?
All right,
I
okay,
left the
okay.
box in the car.
Right, yeah.
I went into the porch, but I don't know how to address him, Mr. Kitchener.
Of course. So where was this Rainorama compound now?
In the compound, yeah.
Serious?
In the house, yeah.
Okay.
So they're in the gallery, right? In the
Right.
porch. So I walk up and say, good morning. He say, Kitch, bad stomach.
Yeah.
So I said, well, Sonny Woodley sent me to talk to you, for an opportunity to play in the tent. He looked at me, say, you have a guitar? I said, yeah. He said, bring the guitar. I said, it's in the car. He said, bring it.
Serious?
I go in the car. I legitimately could take out my guitar now.
Yeah.
I carry my guitar inside, and he says, sit down. And he got up from the chair he was on, and he sat down. He never came back outside. He leave me outside there with Pretender.
No, he get up from the chair and he what?
He went inside.
Oh, he went inside?
But I know he listening.
Okay, he in the house now?
He gone in the house, and I can't go in the house behind him. So I sat in the porch there, and he never came back outside.
But Pretender was there too, you
Pretender was sitting outside there, and there was another fella.
Okay.
Right? And I
At this time, Pretender is a star already.
Well, people know Pretender,
Okay.
out there. He never really made it to the top, the same level with Kitch and them. And there are many, many, many guys like that.
Yeah, of course.
Who are tent heroes.
Of course.
Now, when you go to the tent, that's the
waiting
people
to
you're
see
going
them.
to see.
Yeah, Pretender was one
Because
for me.
their lyrics, their presentation, their brand
the style,
was
yeah.
special.
For sure.
Right?
But Kitchener is a star this time. He
But
owned the
Kitchener,
tent.
Kitchener, he owns the tent. He has big hits.
Yeah, and plenty road march and thing by this time. He's already.
But to go to the tent, only to hear Kitchener and them is like on the road every day just listening to the,
No,
the
for
top
sure,
20.
for sure.
If you don't hear something different,
Yeah, the tent is
you
a
can't
whole
appreciate
experience.
that
For sure.
the music they're doing, So anyway, Pretty say, see if you could catch this. Boy, I can't remember the name of the song he sang, but he started one of them standard songs where I could do my little one.
Okay, all right, good.
My little 1, 2, 3.
You could throw you off there, if you come with something too complicated. But at that time, you could find him.
I had such a good ear.
Okay, good.
I knew exactly what those Calypsonians were doing. Even I might not have known a lot about the chord structure and all that.
Yeah, but once you hear it, you could find him.
I hear in that and I jam in that.
All right, good.
And I start to substitute that with some big fat chords and stuff. Pretty say, don't worry, I go get you in the tent. That was the end of that,
Serious?
That was the end of that. And then he stopped for a while and he went inside and like he talked to Kitch and then he told me, go down to Independence Club next week, Saturday or Sunday morning, right? And Kitchener will be there and they will be there.
So
Independence Club.
So Kitchener
never come back outside for the whole time.
So at this point, you're feeling like you're inside or you're still away?
No, I nervous like hell. I said, Lord, what I get myself in? The man never came back outside. So, but I figure he had to be listening.
Yeah.
You know, because he want to hear what I have. But anyway, so if he could ask me to take the next step, then maybe
something happening.
Things happening. You know.
So Independence Club, where was that?
At the bottom of track, but at what would be considered the start of Tragway Road.
Right.
From close to Park Street there.
Yeah.
Close to West Strand.
Yeah, just
somewhere in that stretch. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
So I went down there this Sunday morning. When I reached their partner, you know, they have these booths like in TGI where 3 people could sit
in
a booth. Kitchener sitting on one side. I'm sitting on opposite him. And a whole bag of fellas trying to get in the tent.
What do you mean?
These are newcomers who have a song
and
they want to get into the tent to sing for the season.
Well, is that tryout?
It's a tryout.
So wait, at that time, you had to sing for Kitchener himself to get any tent?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And guess who have to accompany these fellas? I never hear these fellas. I don't know who these people are.
So you have your guitar at this time?
I have a little box guitar. And I sitting on opposite Kitch to help these fellas to get it. Not one of them get it.
Them men have you up to today. I ain't going out with you in public
Not
again.
Not one of these fellas.
Them men must be seeing you up to today and say, boy, that man set me up, boy, that man play wrong chord, me in any tent.
You talk about pressure. Listen, Corey, after a time, I don't know what I'm hearing.
I could imagine.
Everything sounds the same. I can't tell what it is going on because men just come in and saying, okay, see if you can catch me here. And I fight in there. Jesus. And I understand a little bit of it. If it's simple and it's a little 2-chord thing, I could catch you up. But when fellas start to move around the place and stuff, I at one time Kitchener said to me, what kind of musician you going to make?
Well, now you're sure
you can't hear a minor 7. Boy, wow. I say, well, I did.
But so his hearing and playing is that good?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah. And real musicians. These guys are not... They're playing that.
Picking, okay.
Right? And one time a guy came up and he had a click, you know, with his fingers, right? And boy, is he loudest I ever hear a man do that with his fingers, boy. The fella wearing a vest and the fella have a hairy chest and a lot of plaits and thing. And he's strong, and he come and he stamping his foot and clicking, pock. And when that man start that first song, from the time he finished the first line, kids say next song.
Next song meaning what? Next month?
Next song.
Oh, you had to come with something else. That ain't gonna make it.
Yeah. That.
Wait, this is
that time working here tonight. Public as ever. And men lining up. Everybody have the piece of paper with the song.
Yeah.
But because the song the guy started to sing was so ridiculous.
It's no sheet music, man. Just
song. No. People just come to sing.
But it was
none of them have any music with no anything.
But Strongman song wasn't saying nothing.
Strongman song was the worst. I don't remember what it was, but I was shocked that he could come to sing. You know, sometimes people get an opportunity and they just waste it. And he came with some ridiculous thing.
Oh, yeah.
The one-liner man singing, kids say next song.
Wow.
Next song.
Wow.
That man was so vexed. You see, like if you go on America's Got Talent, and then fellas shut you down in the first move,
right? Yeah.
You can't recover from that. He never bring a next song. He stoops and he started to cuss.
Yeah,
and gone.
But so if you when you tell a man next song, a man go swing at Kitch there, but he can't
swing at Kitch.
No, well, I guess
Kitch has some men around him. Listen, Kitch had a bouncer. This is no kidding. That guy could have been about 5'6" or 7.
A short man?
And he probably could have weighed like about 150 pounds.
Well, I know the type. He looking for fight.
He want to fight. Yeah. Everybody. Right? He want to fight. Small and wiry.
Yeah.
And one night we played in a clash in the Queen's Park Savannah.
10th clash.
10th clash. And the chorus singers, the girls,
Right.
Marilyn Williams and some of the girls and things, right? And a man come on the stage and start to whine behind them.
Yeah.
And small man walk up. And the fella wasn't small, eh?
Yeah, big fella.
Big belly fella. Small man walk up and put him off the stage bodily, you know.
Wow.
I mean, send him off the stage. This is no kidding. So you can interfere with fellas like Kitchman. So them fellas, I mean, you have to understand these guys are like gods in this space. And
I guess.
fight for them.
Yeah, I suppose. Because I guess it's equivalent if somebody come and say the thing in bungee or mash. Like,
No,
going well.
don't do that.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
That's a bad idea. Yeah, bad idea.
So nobody from the day ain't get any tent?
Nobody from that day get any tent.
How much responsibility you taking for this?
None. Me, I compose this song.
But you play bad chords.
I play good chords. Thankfully, some of them only get to sing one line.
So wait, if there's a lineup like that to get in, and nobody get in, what's the cast for the tent then?
Because in a way, the cast is set, because when they're going to have a tent, they already it's like how the big leagues pick people.
Okay, I got you. So you have your franchise players and you have
your big players. So Stalin inside already.
So Stalin and these people, they're not going through that process. That process is for outsiders.
They're not going to. I mean, they're being paid by the tent.
Okay. So wait, if the men get in,
no, they will get in. They will get paid.
Okay.
But what I mean is, Stalin could negotiate how much they want.
Gotcha.
You want Stalin, and Stalin have 2 big hits.
Right.
You can't pay $600 a week until I was getting as a guitar player.
Right. Okay. Good.
Right. But so you have Stalin, Crazy, Scrunter.
There's the headliners. They selling the tent.
You have headliners.
Okay.
So out of those fellas that Kitch would have been auditioning, maybe two of them might have been able to make the first half.
All right, okay.
You know, and maybe not every night, so you could rotate and give a couple people a chance.
I suppose.
You know, there were always new people coming in, I guess, but sometimes maybe if he found somebody who was really, really good, he could keep them. I don't remember any of those people coming into the tent.
No, but the thing about it, as you say, America's Got Talent, right? It's such a similar system because it's all right. If you were able to break through in that bar the night, you might get some spot, right? Even if it's not every night. But if you really perform and keep the place going that night, you're starting to make your own tracks now. Okay, good.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, there's a little story I could tell you about a guy who came to the tent that, I think it was 1983, that same year. And he had one song.
Right.
So he came and he sang his song. It was very surprising, the song he sang. Right? It was different because he was young. And he moved away from the normal calypso, the verse and chorus structure that we usually have. And the way everything moves from, like, if you go to C, go to a C7 to finish up the second half and that part of the thing. So he had a really nice song. Here's how the song went. Time is getting hard, hard, hard right here in Trinidad. Money running low, low, low right here in Trinbago. So if you're working in Trintuck, work harder. If you're working in the borough, work harder. Right? Nice song.
Yeah, so he bunks
different, and it bunks in.
Yeah.
Everybody,
So this is in the tent?
In the tent. Rehearsal. I don't know the fella.
Okay,
see him for the first time.
Okay.
But other calypsonians, other musicians might propose somebody.
Okay, all right. So he
you know? Okay. So somebody writes his music.
Right.
And presents it to the leader of the band, and we're going to practice the song.
Right.
So the fella sing the song, they clap, he get about 3-4 anchors in, because you know they have
there are people
people in the tent just sitting on there watching who come with their wife, whatever. Right.
Okay. So this is not a live night, this is still a rehearsal.
No, it's rehearsal. It's Sunday morning.
Okay, good. Okay.
And the fella had a real fantastic time. When he finished now, he started handing out a second music sheet.
For his next song?
Yeah. So people say, what happened to you? He said, here now, hey, Scrunter ain't sing yet, you know. Crazy ain't sing yet.
Oh yeah, big men to come.
Big men to come. You're inside. You understand?
Yeah, so
the fella started to beg, boy.
So it wasn't normal for a man to have a second song?
Not he.
Oh, new guy.
New guy coming on second song, you crazy? Kitch had to sing 2 songs.
So when they're telling him he inside, you're telling him don't spoil your chances, don't come at all.
What are you doing? Right? He distributed a song.
Right.
And I don't remember who the person was that wrote his music.
Right.
Distributing his song and things. Say, oh, get the young boy a chance now. Well, we worried now that this man gonna get thrown out of the tent. Right. Because
you're keeping the big man waiting.
Yeah, you're keeping the big man waiting. Not only that, but the people who are doing those auditions, the musicians.
Right.
Every one of them is a police. Playing brass.
Got you.
Pay them fellas, you know.
Yeah.
Them fellas don't make Skylark. They're not doing that just for no love, you know. You gotta pay these guys, right? You can't keep these men there. You a newcomer. You have one song. Chill out a little bit now. You're singing good because everybody clap and thing. You get to sing 2 additional verses. Nice. You're looking good. Boy, somebody say, give the young boy a chance. And they say, okay. The man come by me with tears in his eyes. He, poor me.
Yeah, you
I
to be
worse than he.
Too.
I trying to get in the tent. When I see the first music sheet, because I can't read any music.
Yeah.
Boy, I went early to the rehearsal just to see the music sheet before. When I see chords, I nearly faint. I say, boy, I think I'm doing this thing by ear, boy.
Yeah, just listen.
I just listening because I could read. I know the names of the chords. I could see when it's written. But I don't know what else going on in that melody line. I think if I'm supposed to take a solo, play what, stop when. I don't know.
Right.
But I'm just winging it. And then they distributed the music for this fella. So he say, boss man, oh God, they play this song for me. And I say, boy, I don't know. I'm not in charge of nothing. But the man crying. And they distribute the song. You know what song that was?
What's the song?
Hold on to the boom boom. Oh yeah. Why not the boom boom?
Boom boom time?
Boom boom time, boy. The biggest song that year. The biggest song that year. Almost.
It'll make it.
And make it to the tent.
Wow. So this is Iowa crying.
This is Iowa.
So Iowa would end up on the list of men who you spoiled the career.
It's a good thing Iowa didn't have to come Independence Avenue. Independence Club.
But so would they let me in? He gets to sing the boom boom time. Well, he had to sing it.
But he was on the first half and second half. Because boom boom is what was closing the show.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I will bring this big woman, boy.
Yeah, well, that has to close the show.
Goodness. Yeah. And freak out the place. I mean, he was it was spectacular that year. He was really, he ruled that year. And you know what was interesting? One more thing I'll tell you quickly. That year, Sparrow sang, I think it's Do Back Back.
Right.
Do Back Back on me, right?
That was the same year.
That was the same year.
Yeah, that would be 80s.
You know, Kitch used to go down to Sparrow's Hideaway every year. I think on the last night of the tent, either the Friday or the Saturday night. They didn't used to go out.
Right.
Used to go there and have a little clash thing, a little line by Sparrow.
Right.
When he was young by Sparrow, I can't use the language Sparrow used.
Cuss it.
He say, "No XYZ boom boom time in here."
Serious?
They're announcing Iowa. Sparrow come in and say.
So they didn't play the intro?
You're crazy. Not my Sparrow.
Wait, so you squeeze him out, boy?
Mash him up. One time he said, no WXY boom boom time in here. So this is Sparrow's Hideaway.
You ain't stealing no shoulder.
Don't back on me.
So by that time, the song big, boom boom time, big already?
Massive.
Oh my God.
The song massive. Just to tell you these guys, boy.
But you say something, 2 things I want to touch on when you say that, that I really forget. The first thing is the tent. When I go in the tent, I asked mommy about this, right? And she told me I go in tent since I was Zachary age because Spectacular used to have the children's show.
Right.
And I have a real faint memory of Kitch tent. You got to tell me if this is something I remember or make up in my mind. Or see on TV or something. When you were in Kitch tent and Kitch had done, give me the thing with the doctor ordered me.
Yeah.
What year that would be, boy?
83.
No, well then I couldn't remember that. There was a song I went remember going in the tent with you, like just passing through, like we passed through it somewhere every time.
Yeah.
And a woman was running down kitchen and he running back down the woman and
that's the pillow.
Pillow.
She hit me with the pillow. I hit she with the pillow.
What year that would be? That's later than that?
I don't remember which one was.
Yeah, which one was
it?
Which?
It could have been maybe you would have been about 5.
Okay.
Maybe that was 85 or something.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
That's why you might remember it.
Right, okay. And Kitchener Tent then would have been Preston Road?
No,
Where was it?
Henry Street. It was just obliquely opposite Spectacular. Up Henry
Really?
Street, just after past the credit union there,
Yeah,
telephone
yeah.
workers,
Yeah.
on Henry Street on the right-hand side.
Oh, that must be a right second them places, no?
Could be
Somewhere
the
around there?
building or the building before.
So
right
who was on SWTU? Who was on Ryston Road?
Sparrow used to be there.
That was Sparrow.
Yeah,
But
Sparrow.
that wouldn't be Kitch at that time?
Well, Kitch, when they moved from Henry Street,
Right.
they went down there.
Oh, okay, okay,
But
okay.
SWWTU, that's where the original Young Brigade was, which was
Okay.
Sparrow
Oh, okay.
for a long time.
All right.
And then I think
Sparrow?
somebody came, and then Shadow had a tent.
All right, okay. So that was, I guess the venue.
Yeah, the venue is a convenient.
And the Hideaway was a tent at a point in time itself, so they used to do something down there in Sparrow Side.
But he always had calypso shows and stuff there.
But the tent that wasn't big enough to do the
I
tent.
don't know if he actually ran the tent from there for a while. No, in Sparrow, he might have moved his tent out of elsewhere, and carried it there.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a convenient place, so people have to go all the way Pity Valley
I
to
suppose it's
go
true.
to
Not
a tent in
central.
the night. And then they have no parking.
Yeah. Well, I remember there being some stories in the news one time, and I don't know if it was the tent he was doing there or just shows about artists who saying they didn't get paid and they went by the Hideaway and they protest and they this and that.
Well, the truth is,
You
that
get
same night with the cussing,
paid?
to be honest, I don't want to say I didn't get paid, but I just remember that we had to wait an exceedingly long time to get paid.
Serious?
Yeah.
Not that, You're playing with kitchen to get paid.
Man, when I was in Kitch Tent, men chucking money in my pocket while I playing,
Serious?
I used to have to tell him, hey, what you doing? Sonny, would you come my little $600 in an envelope and handing me? I playing. I have to play with both hands.
Yeah.
How was I supposed
Put it
to
in
take the
your
money?
pocket quick.
But he handed me that money. I had to kind of show him my pocket, or nod at my pocket, and then he stick that in my pocket, boy.
But I guess the tent full, so men making the money themselves.
Yeah, fellas doing good.
Yeah, but what you said was the roving. Because the tent was something that used to move around, and even when, I would have been there in the late stages of the tent too, and it still used to do, they used to have a children's show, and then the tent used to be, if I remember right, every night it used to have shows. It was all the time. It wasn't like, and then it fades slowly, and then it was on a weekend only. Yeah, any tent, and now it's like the tent. I don't know how much tent. I know they're doing something. There's in the Savannah now. They do. What was the tent there? You ever went there?
In Savannah?
Yeah, they're doing
No.
I don't know if it's Tuco or somebody organizing it, but there's a tent, same feel and same format and stuff. And another thing I forgot too was the 2-song thing. In my mind, the 2 songs, you come and you do your 2 songs, but you're right, it was a first half and a second half.
First half and a second.
Yeah,
but not
that-
everybody, eh?
Yeah, some people never
Only the
make it.
stars would get, you have to have 2 hits.
Yeah, there are 2 hits or 2
Yeah.
good songs or the reputation. So
Yeah.
like Spectacular had, you remember Rex West?
Yeah.
Spectacular had plenty of people like that who's just there's an act.
Yeah.
It don't matter what they sing, you
that's
never
what
hear
the
the
tent
song.
is.
Cardinal was another man
Oh my
like that.
goodness, yeah.
And then there are another tier too where like even for as a young age, people I would have looked forward to was like Watchman. Because
Right.
you come into a song that has some lyrics,
Right.
but it's funny sometimes.
Yeah.
It have a bounce and a nice flow to it
Yeah.
and things. So I always preferred Spectacular to Kitchener Tent. I always see Kitchener Tent as more serious.
Really?
Yeah. Like the songs at the time was more, because remember that when I go in tent, it's Aloes and Crocro and them men in Kitchener Tent. So by that time it starts to get not political.
But when I played, they weren't in the tent, huh?
They weren't
In
there
my
at all.
time, no.
Yeah, so when I was there, so when I hear your stories about Kitchener Tent, it's a whole different feel for me.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
first time you told me Iowa was in Kitchener Tent. By the time I was going tent, that was not happening. Iowa
figure
would
so.
be spectacular.
Yeah, the Spectacular used to try to contract the big hits, the
Right,
soca artists,
right.
because they wanted to do something different.
Right.
The way their brand really was the fets.
Right.
You know, you get a sense of what's going on in the fets if you come to the tent.
Yeah.
So you see all the big guns and stuff.
Because Rudder, all of them.
Rudder
would have
and all
been-
them used to
yeah,
be
it
there.
used to be
Yeah.
Tambu. All of them used to be
Yeah.
spectacular. So when you go Kitchener Tent, this must be 90s, I suppose. It was very, very serious calypsos.
Yeah.
You know? And even Pretender was in Spectacular.
Right.
So
okay.
Pretender used to sing his song and thing, and he was only. Oh, you know who was this? I remember from Kitchener Tent to Valentino. they used to be the ones who was
I don't
in
think Valley
Kitchener.
was, but not during my time.
Yeah, by the time I was there, those were the men.
Yeah, but fellas move around too,
Yes, I'm
because
sure.
it's where you're comfortable. Sometimes they're not happy one place.
Yeah, and you get more money somewhere else. I suppose you
exactly.
move.
They have a good song and somebody say, "Come across by me."
Yeah, I suppose. But by the time I remember being an older teenager at the time, was 17, 18,
Right.
and going there, and then I guess started to get more of an appreciation for the topics of the song. And not just the music and the vibes and them kind of things. I started appreciating Kitchener Tent then, but it didn't last much longer. By then, the tent, I think I always complain about this with shows locally. I think these shows are too long. So the tent, when we were growing up, let me say my time would be 90s to 2000.
Yeah.
It just had less to do. So you could go in the tent from evening. We used to go in the tent. Spectacular Train show was on a Sunday. When you're going in this daytime.
Right.
And by the time you leave is 8, 9 o'clock. So it's a long show. When you think about it now, nobody goes out for more than 2-3 hours. The world gets so fast paced. But I feel like if when I watch, you still watch Calypso Monarch?
Yeah.
I find that when the tent starts slowing down as an avenue,
right,
you could see the Calypso Monarch start to get more and more difficult as a show.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of that was the case when you were playing. The tent used to feed the competitions like that. Same kind of thing.
Yeah. But the tent died.
Right.
The concept of the tent died, and I think from my standpoint, there are a couple of reasons for that.
Right.
One, I think, is the music. It's just the way the music is structured now. Less and less people are actually creating the kind of music that people want to come to in a tent.
But I wonder which one came first. Like, if the tent was paying well, people might have created that.
Well, the tent suffered. The big issue with tents was about politics, political calypsos.
Yeah, I feel right?
In particular, Crocro and Sugar Aloes.
For sure.
They thought they were doing something good and nice, and everybody jump up and stuff. But they were turning off their customers.
They was alienating a big part of the society.
Alienated the Indian,
for sure,
right, customer who used to go to the tent. Let me tell you, a tent used to have plenty Indian people.
Yeah.
They appreciate the calypso. They just like me and you. They enjoy the little double meaning and the stuff and all.
Well, even look at this, right? So to put through the way you're saying, if you look back at a tent video now on YouTube, you see all different races. You see Indian people, French Creole people. Everybody is a place, and not just that, like appreciating the thing too. Because when I was just before election, I was giving them two parties some pecan, and Chalk does had a song.
Yeah.
Singing, "There's only dotes you and stupid me." Is PM. You know that song?
Yeah.
And I was looking at, I couldn't find a record of it, so I was looking at his performance to get the lyrics right, and the people clap so. I mean, but it's a united audience of people, and that song is not 1980s. That song is you know what I mean? So it's like it fade fast, and I think that's something I always felt like the songs. And that's where Kitchener Tent was always an issue for me as somebody who go in, because you're attacking, I think it's politics, yes, but you have to understand that some people is political supporters, so when you attack the party, you're attacking them. And it was racist. Boy, some of them
it was terrible.
It was bad. It was
real terrible.
So you feel like that, well, I guess once a big group like that leave, now you're getting somebody to sell tickets.
It's the most economic group that leaving.
I suppose.
It was ridiculous, and they didn't realize it because, there's this... when you live in this bubble, you see what we were talking about earlier on, about people living in a certain space, and they believe that's the world,
is yours.
And somehow you feel that everybody's there, who's there is going to laugh and have a good time. But I remember when they used to attack Pandey, and the man's wife, I mean, regardless of how you feel about the politics or whatever you want to do, you could share your thing among yourself. But when you publicize that and make that, how you expect a person who may be likely to be supporting him to be sitting down right there listening to this, and then they have to come back and pay you? You'd be crazy.
And not just supporters, because politicians themselves would be in the crowd too. When you go to the tents, the men come in.
There was a time when, you used to say that Eric Williams used to come to the tent when Chalky was jamming him.
Yeah.
Right? And he used to laugh.
Right.
As a matter of fact, Chalky sang a song, and Eric say, or whoever it is, let the jackass bray.
Right. Oh, that was about that song?
Yeah. Let the jackass bray.
Right.
So he was one of them. They say every time you started pong, Eric used to take out the hearing aid.
Oh, man. So you want to hear no more?
Yeah, you at all. You can sing what you want. He come to enjoy. When you stop, he put it back on and listen to the next thing.
Right. But you see, the level of Pekong was different. It was Pekong. No,
Yeah.
I mean, not now necessarily, but it reached a point where it wasn't Pekong no more. It was
It got to the
attacked.
point where there are theories that they were all paid political.
I don't know that.
thing. Well, yeah, because I
I
mean,
don't know that. Now it's out in the open.
exactly.
Because
Fellas
what you
actually
look at the
getting paid
campaign
now to
songs,
create a
of
song.
course,
Yeah.
that recorded and play on track
Exactly,
to disturb the
yeah.
whole neighborhood all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's out in the
And you
open
know
now.
what that did? It also gave rise to a phenomenon that we don't know much about, which is in the tents where you have a lot of East Indians who have they have their own tents,
Right.
right? There's a very strong anti-black sentiment in some of the music that you hear. It's not mainstream,
Right, yeah.
right?
Okay.
So in response to it,
In Calypso, you mean?
yeah,
At
in
the
the
time,
in
or-
chutney,
Okay.
right? Well, it's so unnecessary.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You could still all enjoy the music, and there was a time when that arena was very hostile to Indians,
Right.
right? And not just hostile to Indians, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Terra sang a calypso a few years ago.
Right.
What was it he said? Some of them from Grenada, St. Vincent, Guyana, Jamaica.
God.
Some from Demerara. I hear they even had a Chinese, a noted Popo singing calypso.
Yeah.
So calypso was not even he pong Popo, who was an old calypsonian
Of course,
too,
yeah.
but a Chinese. So he said, "Hey, imagine you have a Chinese singing calypso."
Yeah.
So it wasn't just along the lines of race; it was
Yeah, it was
geography too.
xenophobic, of course.
If you're not from Trinidad and you're not black, you can't sing no calypso.
Yeah. But you was playing yesterday for me, the Blakey with licks in the police van.
Yeah,
And you
licks
say
in
it
the police
yourself.
van. If you only say, you tell you say box, as you say backs.
Licks in the police
Straight
van.
it, you know.
Yeah.
So you had that kind of elitism, if you want, that the Calypsonian felt that we are up here
Right.
and nobody else could be. And Ricky Jai, for example, had a real tough time.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this: if I would credit Ricky Jai with as being the single artist to change. He's a change agent,
Right.
if ever did, because he stuck it out. He used to sing with Spectacular too.
I remember I used to
And
look forward to seeing Ricky
On
Jai.
top of all the thing where fellas didn't want to talk to him.
Serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know.
He was the first person before him you had people like Sonar Popo and thing, but I don't know if Sonar sang in the tent.
Right.
I'm not sure. Sonar might have been singing in his space, in his chutney space and stuff, right?
Okay.
But he did make the crossover because he had one or two very popular songs that
Right.
everybody loved and bought.
Right.
But Ricky Jai was the man. For all them fellas now who coming through, who
Yeah, he opened up.
he opened the doors, you know,
Yeah.
to take that blows.
Well, when I was going Spectacular, Ricky Jai,
Yeah.
when he had done Sumintra, and he had songs, because like a lot of people know him for that Sumintra and all for Chutney and them things now.
Yeah.
But Ricky Jai was singing calypso,
Yeah.
verse and chorus and
Yeah,
full
yeah.
structure,
Nice
topical.
music too.
Yeah, he was always good. He was always good. I surprised to hear that. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
You know what? From the audience, when you see a good show, because one of the elements of the tent, and we have 2 hours, so I'll probably wrap up, and we have plenty more to talk about, but we have people to beat outside. Well, I have people to beat outside.
Yeah, but I can't see what on that board. So
Beautiful.
I feel like if we talk about everything on the board already, because I don't know one word on that board.
Well, you see where you have Ken Corbie
The only
on
thing
the
I'm
board?
making out on that board is 3 markers that stick on the board there.
Right. You see where you have Ken Corbie?
That's Ken Corbie?
Yes. And you see that line under that?
Uh-huh.
That way we reach.
Oh my goodness.
No, but when you're looking, the other element of the tent that I feel like is, I don't know if it's lost or it changed or it evolved or what, but was the MC boy.
Yeah.
You know, the Sprang Along, Tommy
Yeah.
Joseph, Rachel Price would have been one when I
Right.
was going to, and John Agitation.
Oh gosh.
They were real. It's like they make the show
Yeah.
because they are there from beginning to from the welcome to the exit.
Yeah.
Them men take it and they deal with who get boo. They deal with who get chair and they bring them on. They tell some joke in between.
Yeah.
I
And they
know.
get booed too.
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Man was waiting for them to tell a stale joke, boy. People
What?
used to wait, but they was so good at it because I mean I never see much people who could control a crowd like Sprang Along.
Yeah.
When he come out on that stage, you remember
Oh,
he used to
yeah,
come with
yeah.
his rag on his shoulder all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he come out in the tent, you can't get. And Tommy Joseph was funny.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Well,
he's-
they were actually more popular than some fellas who
For
come
sure,
into singing.
for sure.
So you come in to see them
Mm-hmm.
because they're gonna entertain you from.
Well, let me tell you,
From
it was
day
one of
one.
the funniest things I see Tommy Joseph used to do. You see, when the tent had a way when people calling for encore, when it's song done and everybody clap and the whole tent clap. But
Yeah.
remember they had a similar way. They almost used to clap people off the same way.
Right.
Like midway through your song, you hear people.
Yeah. Time to go.
And boy, Tommy used the easy way on that stage, boy. When you see you midway through a song and Tommy come and he sort of shake the head and think,
time
he
to
coming
go.
for that mic, you know. And that's the end.
Time to disappear.
But I find like that avenue, or them controlling the thing and the jokes, and even that was, for the better ones, well maintained, and they make the tent into a real experience overall. So to me, saying down in the audience, it looked like all them Calypsonians getting along, everybody happy backstage.
Well,
But I remember this boy, the guys we sing extempo with. Who sang extempo with us?
Yeah, Brong.
Yeah, Brong boy, rest in peace, and Hezekiah. Was talking about artists and how cagey it is backstage and who to talk to who and who singing and it's something else.
Well, I mean, to go back to Pretender, which is what I was trying to talk about when I started.
Oh, you remember? Good.
I remember now. I hear Pretender at halftime cussing David Rudder.
Yeah.
Right? Backstage in Kitchener tent. Now, Rudder nowhere wrong, because Rudder singing with Spectacular.
Okay.
But Pretender had a beef with whether Rudder singing Calypso.
Oh, so that was a normal thing going on. I thought I was home by We Alone. No. So people were saying Rudder not singing Calypso. That's people saying in general.
Pretender say that's not Calypso.
Wow.
Right? That's not Calypso. And Pretender say to be a Calypsonian, you have to sing Calypso and you have to write your own Calypso. So if you're not writing your own Calypso, you are no Calypsonian.
Wow.
These fellows are purists in the sense. But what surprised me was how he was behaving, because he was a real cussing. I mean, among people who trying to buy a soft drink during the halftime. People want to buy a little beer.
They don't want to hear that.
That man is offloading, boy. He couldn't stand Rudder, boy.
Serious, and look at Rudder. No, but you can't say nothing bad about Rudder now.
I think that changed too over time.
Okay.
Those guys realized that change was going to happen regardless of whether they liked it or not.
Yeah.
And it happened, So I actually heard him, Pretender sang a real classic when he said they don't make them like me anymore. And he actually called Rudder as a great. Right? As a great.
Well, time is a hell of a thing.
Time will take time longer than twine.
Yeah, for sure. Because I remember your mother and you were close on this. She I remember Gypsy sing a song. Rim bam bam, rim bam bam.
Yeah.
That was a big song. It had no song I could have liked like that when that song come out. I can't remember what year that would have been.
Boy,
that was in the 80s, boy.
It probably.
Yeah, I'll
well,
check
actually, it would have been in the 80s because it might have been around maybe 86 or 87 because that's when he sang The Ship is Sinking. Okay. I think it was around the same time, if not on the same year.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah.
Which is songs. Captain, right?
Right, yeah.
That was 19, that would have been 19, maybe somewhere 87.
That's
right after the NAR won the election.
Oh, that's
no, hold on, wait.
I can check it.
That ushered in the NAR.
Right. Oh, that was what it is. So that's 86.
So it would he maybe sang that in 85.
Oh, so it's before they
around
came in.
85, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been around that time. They would have been 86 to 90.
But he sang it during Chambers' era.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Captain
the
so
Ship is Sinking.
It's one of the things.
The year 86 is when I think he sang it in the competition.
You're right, it's 86.
Yeah,
it's 86.
Yeah.
So if when you sing Bam Bam, listen, I know what that song is about now. I had no idea what it is. The song was just vibes.
Yeah.
And your mother say, that had too much of Bam Bam. That had no right to be on the radio. And she was mad, boy. She said that had no right to be on radio. So
but we used to jam that for Parang, boy.
Serious?
What Christmas morning we jam?
Time to bring it back.
I don't remember this song.
I don't remember what? That was a big
song.
Well,
I just remember that piece of chorus. Hey, bam, bam.
They used to say, like they want to drive me insane. I don't know what to do again.
What's the formula to win a crown down in Port of Spain? Man, every year coming strong. I singing a powerful song.
For hell they won't give me the calypso crown.
Now a good partner tell me, here what you doing wrong, Gypsy? You have too much good lyrics in your melody. Everybody love your tune. Man, we know that you could croon, but sing this song and I'm sure that you can't go wrong.
But sing bam bam, ring bam bam. I say, too much of bam bam. Too much.
But you must say, I think he bam bam. I think he bam bam.
Song was bad.
But we used to sing different things, you know.
Yeah,
that's what she didn't like about it. We used to say big bam bam,
Oh,
small bam bam, long bam bam, no bam bam, flat bam bam, big bam.
The truth is coming out. The Tiffin guitar. We destroying careers in it. And now the woman think the song is about Bam Bam. So listen, that's something I want to ask you before we go. If you had to break down our greatest calypso artist of all time, you can put calypso and soca in one. From your experience playing and thing, we will say it would be the pinnacle.
That's a real tough question.
I can imagine.
That is a very, very, very tough.
Because let me tell you why I'm asking that. I want to start to compile, like hip hop is do it, dancehall is do it, and I find you don't hear it in soca and calypso at all. Like, if we had to make a top 50 greatest artists of all time, ranked, it would be interesting to hear what people say, especially because the different eras you come from will influence that in a major way. Like, Voice probably wouldn't be on my top 50.
Yeah.
But you ask one of these youths now, they probably tell you Voice and them fellas up there.
Well, to be honest with you, there's so many men, so many fantastic people that it's almost an unfair question. But if I had to identify one person, the criteria for me would be one person who has been able to stay the course and who has been able to straddle different age groups.
Well, I know who you're going to say already.
This is not a take
no
away from
knock on
anybody
else, for sure.
But the only person I think has been able to stay that course and straddle different age groups so that even if you ask a young person now, maybe 20,
for sure,
you know who it is.
Right.
You know who I'm going to say?
Yeah.
Who?
King Austin. King Austin Lyons. It had to be Super Bowl, right?
No.
No? Who's that boy?
The man I feel has been the most effective at capturing the people's imagination, having an awesome library, being able to be known everywhere and loved, and even known by people who might still be a teenager.
Right.
Winston Bailey.
Yeah.
Winston Bailey, the Shadow.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
If I had to choose somebody, and sadly, I get an appreciation after he passed.
Yeah.
Because I always like Shadow. And maybe it's because one of the earliest songs, the two earliest songs I play when you were showing me chords and the quattro and thing, was Plant Peas and Tobago.
Yeah.
And Take the Number.
Right.
You know why?
Well, Take the Number, no, that's Scrunter.
That's Scrunter.
Yeah.
You know why it's two songs I used to play?
Why?
Two chords. It's the greatest invention.
Yeah.
I find out long after, bassman had more chords, but I played the two chords right through.
Yeah.
It worked for me. So I couldn't wait when Oli started to play that. I waited there for Taking Number to start.
Yeah.
So I'd always like him for that, and I get to appreciate his music as we go along, as years pass. But when he passed, and I started to listen to his music and listen to more and more, and it's then I realized, but wait, this man's catalog is crazy.
It's awesome.
It's crazy how much music he has
It's
over time.
Real awesome.
But I would say that because of that, I probably have Super Blue up there too. Or Blue Boy. Because of the eras. Now he would have started, Shadow would have started before him.
Well,
would he?
Maybe because I'm remembering when I sang his calypso. I was born in 1959,
right? And
I was about 11, so this would be 1971 or
right. So that would be a little before Blue,
somewhere there where I was singing that song.
So you had a little more experience because Blue Boy would have been late.
Blue Boy came 70s. In after. But the thing is that I think if I was mentioning Blue, I would have to say I will categorize him into a certain type of calypso.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to approach it. Yeah, all different kinds.
He meets all the criteria because you have a different kinds of calypsos.
Right.
He made you do some introspection. Think about life. What is life?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He sang about life and death and that dimension that everybody wants to understand.
He was deeper.
And yet he still was able to make it dance like I don't know what.
Right.
And he was able to have a certain kind of allure about him, right? He's a mystical kind of person, you know?
Yeah, he will style and everything.
Mystical. And if he went anywhere, I don't think Super could have gone on stage with him in Germany.
Serious?
Because you see, when Shadow reached in Germany, when you have an audience of all white people out in some of them European countries, they're fascinated by this man. The man black.
Style and his presence and everything.
Wearing all black.
Yeah, he don't move when he's singing. Remember, he used to sing whole songs and don't move?
Everything. The fellow is complete.
Yeah, I suppose.
The fellow was complete. So, and unfortunately, I feel good about the question because to be able to identify him.
Right.
Because he felt, maybe up to the day of his death, so...
Yeah, boy.
He's so unfinished. Like, you know, he never really captured that calypso crown especially at the time when he wanted to capture it, when he sang Bassman.
Right.
No, when he sang Bassman, he didn't win the crown. He won the road match.
Bassman? Okay.
Yeah. I think he won the road match. I don't remember
Bassman from Hell?
if he won. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be road match.
That was the road match. But he grieved
Right.
all through his life for not winning that Calypso crown.
Yeah.
I think he
yeah,
won the crown only when he sang Stranger.
Stranger, he went Soca Mana Crown, not Calypso. He still never win Calypso. He won Calypso.
He won the Calypso. He won the
sure?
Calypso. Yeah, I think he won the Calypso with Stranger and
What's his life?
When you're young, you're young.
He win Calypso.
When
Mana
you're
Crown?
old, you're old.
Okay.
When you're young, you're strong. When you're old, you're cold. But you know this song, you should sing it.
Yeah, don't know it at all. First time I hear that song.
But
I
want me posy.
But yeah, I think somebody else I would have put up there was Stalin too. You know what we should do? We should do somewhere. We'll do it when we as we do episodes as we go along, because you're right. The categories make it hard to judge.
Yeah.
So there might be a category, there might be a space for lyrics.
Yeah.
Or consciousness, where I put somebody like Stalin in terms of storytelling, when somebody like spoiler or humor with spoiler. So it might be good for us to work on some top 10 lists.
Yeah.
And say
I agree. That's why I say that Shadow
straddles all. You're probably
if
right.
you want social commentary, he right there.
I wonder how much people, if you ask them that question, they will say Shadow Boy. Because you have a depth and you have plenty of experience with it too. I wonder if you ask other men, like, you know, if you ask Pelham, if you Shadow, it would be good to hear what they think.
I bet you Pelham say Shadow.
Serious?
I don't think he will disagree with that. I mean, Sparrow and all these fellas had their thing, but what I find now is that in today's age, he has died away. So young people don't really know much about him.
Right.
But Zachary might know more at 7 years old about Shadow than about Sparrow.
Yeah, probably. Well, definitely from me. I mean, he knows Shadow. He know Obia. He know Mr. Brown. He know that one he was singing. He know them. Yeah, you're probably right. And you know, it's funny you should say that too, because one of the things that stood out for me, it's two things. You remember we were talking yesterday, and I was telling you that the remake of Never Eat a White Meat Yet, that came out when I was in primary school.
Right.
And Newton Girls had a little bizarre thing, but I remember hearing that is late 80s. And that was the biggest song that was played in that bazaar. There no foreign music that could have reached that, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about that time was foreign music wasn't as influential to us as children then as it was with Zachary.
Right.
So when he sang that, it was probably competing with other local music. And then when they had just before the coup, the Foster had sing a song named Batman. You remember that? It wasn't a good song.
Yeah.
But it was good.
That's why I don't remember it.
Yeah, but he had a bat suit. He get the whole
God,
Batman suit, and they was talking about how much money it cost. Like the same Michael Keaton, I think, was he Batman then? But whatever Batman movie was, I think he sang a song, Batman, I'm Taking Over, and they keep playing it in the coup. With the Taking Over thing now. Little Mermaid and that they was playing over and over. And boy, the Foster come and sing in Newton Boys. In his church. You remember that church in the middle?
Yeah.
The St. Patrick's, the Belfry there, boy. A man sing and mash up there, boy.
Wow.
But the local music was the thing. But when Sparrow had done Poverty is Hell. Shadow, sorry.
Yeah.
Poverty is Hell in the 90s at that point in time. I was in Fatima and we went something on QRC grounds, but I'll never forget that. And dancehall and thing was the big music then. We not listening to soca then.
Right.
And boy, Poverty is Hell come on in that grounds and stopped the whole place. You know, there was no other music that could compete like that. So I think Shadow too. I thought you were to say Super Blue, but I think Shadow too because of that same thing. He went plenty eras and he covered it. And they have him here as winning Calypso Monarch. You know, your real memory.
Yeah,
but it was in
he
2000.
did it once.
It was with
Shadow and Stranger.
No, it was What's Wrong With Me and Scratch My Back for Me.
That's the same song.
Was Scratch My Back for Me.
What's wrong with me?
I don't know what's wrong with me.
Ba-ba-da, ba-ba-da.
No, that's not Stranger. That's two different songs you sing.
That's What's Wrong With Me. Yeah, that's What's Wrong With Me. Am I ugly or what?
Okay.
I have soul
right.
foot or
yeah,
what? He sang that, yeah.
And Scratch Me Back for Me.
Yeah.
So that's
Stranger
second
won
song.
Road Match.
Stranger was Road Match and Soca Monarch. If I'm not
was
mistaken.
Was that the same year?
Stranger? No, that was the same year. I'll tell you. Stranger was after that, you know. When these two songs played, Shadow was still in the mix a lot.
Right.
When he sang Stranger, he wasn't in the Fed circuit and thing a whole lot, you know.
Yeah. Okay.
But
But
2001 was Stranger. It's the year after.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I used to be waiting. And no, at one time I used to anticipate
What Shadow coming?
Because you know it's a quality. You know it's quality. No questions asked.
But I remember talking to you, we playing cards the other day, and that song, one of Shadow's favorite songs for me is, it's how much lyrics at all is, ooh, pa, 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 ooh, tempo. And you telling me that's a recent song. I thought that would be an old song, but you say that.
Well, recent in context,
in his zero. All right, well, we have people to beat.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of things to talk about still. No, we have to talk about.
You make me bring my guitar here. No, hello, wait, hold on.
Well, play.
You make me bring my guitar here.
Play.
I charge in,
Well, here what? Since you bring your guitar, right?
Yeah.
Number one calypso, and you say Shadow, right?
Yeah.
Number one song in the genre of all time. Play.
Number one song?
Play.
Okay, I'll get that. See if you get a quattro there.
I had to play this number one song too. How I get involved? I didn't know I had no parts of that. Okay, you know.
And see.
I feeling like the man who had to play for Kitchener now, and I gonna mess up everything with this number one song.
Now,
I
had to preface this, right?
Yeah.
This song had no chorus.
All right.
The number one song had no chorus.
Well, I feel I know it's the number one song.
And I lose a whole calypso competition in Belmont Secondary because they say my song had no chorus. But this song is the most complete calypso that, as far as I am concerned, ever written.
All right, just hold that
and musically composed.
All right.
Yeah. This is the most complete song that I think I ever heard. Really, really nice.
All right.
Trinidad is my land, and of it I am proud and glad. But I can't understand why some people just talk it bad. But I know all of them, they running their mouth. They don't know what they're talking about. They will paint hair black every day, but the right things they will never say. Like our sportsmen being rated among the best. Our scholars have sit and passed every test. Put us right alongside the rest. And our pitch lake is the greatest one of its kind. Our sugar and oil is really refined. So you see, friends, this is a real King Solomon's mine. They just talk some nonsense. Me, I know what they're doing it for. But so much violence, man, you could swear that they fight in war. Cause we have delinquents to face, just like any other place. But the things they just say about here is really too much for me to bear. Because my people are daily making progress without any form of stupidness. And in this way we must gain success. And when we move in, we all move as one body. No bickering between you and me. For our policy stands for racial equality. So when a stranger spending a little time in this lovely isle, every day you see him, he always have a hearty smile. And when his time is up to depart, he will say with pride in heart, I'll be back, you could bet your life. And if I can't come, I go send me wife. And then he tells you that he really wants her to come, to drink a rum and have plenty fun in this great island in the sun. For Trinidadians, as foreigners would recall, it doesn't matter whether big or small, cause if you're rich or poor, friends, we cater for one and all. So all of them who talking, they either drunk or they staring mad. Or maybe they forgetting Mr. Universe belongs to Trinidad. We have men of talent and skill, of high hope of improving still. And if you feel all this is a lie, the mighty sniper will tell you why. Now our steel band is the best talent in this world. By Kaiso and Chutney, our stories are told with a rhythm to touch your soul. Trinidad, this lovely land of my birth, small but overwhelming in worth. And as you know, Carnival is the greatest frolic on earth. Oh, Bidi bi bam bam dan din din din. Oh, ay ay ay. Ba bi bi din 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 din. Ba la ba da 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 di di bim. Ba la ba di bi di bi bi di.
That is it?
Yeah.
You catch me again.
Mr. Mervyn Hodge, boy.
You catch me again.
I think that's the 1964 Calypso King.
You catch me.
Sniper.
You catch me. You know what I thought you were going to say?
Which one?
Progress.
Nah.
Better
Progress
Trinidad is my land.
way down the totem pole, boy, when it comes to classics, boy.
Serious?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
we had to work on this list. We had to come together and compile some lists. Nation building,
Yeah,
lyrics,
exactly.
soca,
Humor.
fet song, humor,
Yeah.
artists.
Yeah.
So we will get right.
Nice.
And we will come back through. Thanks a million. This was 2 hours and
My
plenty.
goodness.
And we have about 2 hours and plenty to do again. So part 2.
You know, only one observation I have.
Tell me.
You know, I ain't got no food, you know.
Will you ever see Rolly? Rolly had a lime.
It's
They ca-
5:49. A man have been here since what time?
That's good time.
Exploitation. to
This is
the
a
max.
podcast, no foodcast, no?
Okay.
So next week.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for listening. Don't forget, give me feedback on the Facebook page, Corey Shepherd Podcast. Same on Instagram, the Corey Shepherd Pod on Twitter. Give me as much feedback as you want. And also, if you're listening on the Libsyn link, there's a space below that you could give feedback directly to the Facebook page. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I enjoyed having the conversation. It's nice to talk to somebody for a change and not talk to a wall. But I think the purpose of the conversations overall is really to get different perspectives in the room, and not necessarily people who see this world the same way as me. I have a lot of friends and family who see things very different, and most of them call me and say, hey, I didn't agree with this that you said, and I didn't agree with that. And that's cool. It's nice to have the conversations where we could shed some light on some things from some different perspectives, so that it's not just me hearing over and over. And I think you're getting a feel for who I am by now. So thanks a mil for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed it. Salute next week.